Better sign in. Who knows, I might get the exact same system as the protagonist. Blue Planet, Dragon Nation, Linhai University. Have you guys heard? Su Yang and Lin Rushue split up. For real? Weren't they the most standout rookie duo in our batch? Last month they teamed up to slay a Tier 2 Stage 5 Iron Spine Bear, an elite monster beast. Just like that, they're done. TCH, come on, it's all Lin Rushue's doing. She has a Grey Beast Snow Leopard bloodline, insane speed and burst damage. Taking down a dumb bear was child's play. Su Yang barely contributed anything. Exactly. Back at the awakening ceremony, Su Yang tricked her with a hidden talent. And look at the past 6 months. Has anyone seen that talent actually work once? Ha ha ha, I can't stop laughing thinking about it. Seamless perfection sounds so overpowered, but it's utterly useless. Rushue has been complaining to us for a whole month. She's out front fighting every battle while Su Yang slacks off in the back. They only beat that Iron Spine Bear because she pulled off a last-minute burst. There's no way they would have won otherwise. Lin Rushue finally came to her senses. Not all hidden talents are game-changers after all. Su Yang sighed as he listened to the whispers swirling around him. Word really got out fast. He never slacked off, not even once. Over these 6 months, every battle, every life or death moment, it was always him pulling Lin Rushue back from the brink of death. His hidden talent, seamless perfection. There's barely any documentation for Beast Tamer talents on the official website. Scouring the archives only yielded vague blurbs, boosts evasion odds, improves critical hit chances, may dodge fatal strikes, and so on. All generic, ambiguous descriptions that sound like nothing but superstition. Only those who've awakened the talent know how absurdly overpowered it truly is. It lets his contracted beast unleash every skill at peak perfection. Perfect hit timing, flawless evasion windows, maximized skill potency, guaranteed vital strikes. The combat boost it provides cannot be quantified by mere stats. If there's one downside, it's that its effects are invisible while active. A pure Schrodinger's talent. Back in his dorm, Su Yang sank into a chair and stared blankly at the ceiling. He was a transmigrator. 2.5 years ago, he'd been about to head home to grind his mobile gacha games when he opened his front door and was suddenly transported to this world. It happened out of nowhere. In this realm, adults gain power through an awakening ritual. Women awaken spirit beast bloodlines, allowing them to transform into their beasts for combat. Men awaken beast tamer talents, which amplify their contracted spirit beasts' combat prowess. Talents have no fixed tiers, but beast tamers can unlock a second, even third talent by breaking through cultivation stages. Bloodlines range from grade F to SSS. Legend says God-tier bloodlines existed tens of thousands of years ago, yet they've long gone extinct. What's more, female bloodline bearers cannot transform on their own. They require a beast tamer's beast tamer force to shift forms. For this reason, all combat teams are male-female pairs, each reliant on the other. But a far more urgent crisis loomed. The end-of-term assessment was right around the corner. To take the exam, you must have a contracted partner. No contract meant a failing grade. A failing grade meant expulsion. An expulsion meant sleeping under a bridge. I need to find a new spirit beast to contract as soon as possible. Right then, an artificial AI voice echoed abruptly inside his head. Ding. Host has transmigrated for 2.5 years. All system binding requirements met. Sign-in system successfully activated. Complete daily random quests to earn sign-in attempts. 1 sign-in limit per day. Daily sign-ins grant rewards. Your first sign-in is free of charge. Would you like to sign in now, host? Su Yang froze completely. A system? He'd read hundreds upon hundreds of web novels before transmigrating. He knew exactly what this was. But why did it take 2.5 whole years to show up? Other protagonists get their systems the second they arrive. He'd survived over 900 days on Hell mode difficulty with 0 cheats. This was ridiculous. Still, beggars can't be choosers. It was here now, and he was definitely using it. Sign in. Ding. First sign-in complete. Critical strike reward triggered. Congratulations, host. You have obtained the hidden talent, Spirit Beast Atavism. Su Yang sat dumbfounded. God-tier bloodline. Is this real? God-tier bloodlines had vanished tens of thousands of years ago in this era, and this talent let him cultivate spirit beasts up to that rank. All spirit beast evolution paths are fully documented on the official Beast Tamer site, yet every single one is a fixed route with a hard upper limit. A beast's fate is sealed the moment it awakens. Atavistic evolution, however, meant an evolution path with no ceiling. Truly worthy of a system. Host earns critical strike sign and rewards for consecutive sign and streaks of 3, 7, 15, and 30 days. Forming a life bond contract with a spirit beast grants an extra critical strike sign and chance. Critical strike attempts do not count toward your daily sign and limit. A slow smirk tugged at Su Yang's lips. Daily grind? Please. Before transmigrating, he juggled 10 mobile games at once without breaking a sweat. A simple daily sign in was barely a warm-up for his grinding stamina. Still, no matter how powerful the talent is, I need a spirit beast first. Su Yang sat back down, booted up his computer, logged onto the Beast Tamer forum, and scrolled through partnership contract posts. Unbeknownst to him, a girl lingered outside his dorm door, hesitating to knock. She wore a plain white blouse and yellow skirt, with delicate features and a curvy figure. Tiny beads of sweat dotted her pale neck, betraying her nervousness. She'd heard the news that Su Yang had dissolved his contract with Lin Rushua. The end-of-term assessment was less than 2 weeks away, and nearly every student had locked down their paired contracts already. She only possessed a grade F bloodline. Even cannon fodder spots had a waiting list for someone like her. Who would ever pick her? No contract meant no exam access, which meant failure, which meant expulsion. As an orphan with no family to fall back on, she dared not imagine what expulsion would bring. Su Yang was her last hope. Whether his talent was truly useless or not, he was the only unpaired beast tamer left. They could help each other. There was still a slim chance. After several more minutes of wavering, she took a deep breath and rapped her knuckles against the door. The door swung open. Su Yang stared at the girl in shock, not for her stunning looks or figure, but because a system interface floated directly above her head. Name, Mu Chenxi. Bloodline, Grade F Black Scaled Serpent. Stage, Tier 1 Stage 4. Skill, Tail Sweep. Standard Evolution Path. Grade C Dark Serpent. Atavistic Evolution Path. God Tier Candle Dragon. Holy hell, God Tier Bloodline? A Candle Dragon? Are you kidding me? He'd just received Spirit Beast atavism from the system and hadn't even settled back into his chair, and a Spirit Beast with a God Tier atavistic path showed up at his door out of nowhere. And she was a gorgeous woman with delicate features and an incredible figure? This was too good to be true. Su Yang forced the shock off his face and spoke calmly. Can I help you? Mu Chenxi swallowed hard. My name is Mu Chenxi. My bloodline is Grade F Black Scaled Serpent. I heard you recently parted ways with your contracted partner. The end-of-term exam is almost here, so I was wondering, do you have a new contract yet? If not, would you consider contracting with me? She bowed her head the second she finished speaking, holding out almost no hope for a yes. Su Yang narrowed his eyes. A spirit beast with a god-tier atavistic path came knocking on his door voluntarily. This was a once-in-a-lifetime miracle. He'd be an idiot to turn her down. I accept. Mu Chenxi froze, utterly stunned by his immediate agreement. Really? You're willing to contract with me? I'll contract you, but I have one condition. A condition? It's simple. Su Yang's gaze lingered on the words Candle Dragon on the floating system panel as he said flatly, a life bond contract. If you agree, we can seal it right now. A life bond contract. Mu Chenxi went rigid, shock flooding her features before her cheeks flushed bright crimson. No one asks for a life bond straight off the bat. There are 2 types of contracts between beast tamers and spirit beasts in this world. The first is a regular contract, which either party can unilaterally dissolve at any time. It's purely a temporary partnership, free to come and go. No lingering ties, no stat buffs or penalties upon separation. Su Yang and Lin Rushua had signed this type, which was why she'd split with him so cleanly and easily. A life bond contract, however, was entirely different. Once forged, it could never be broken. No matter what happens, betrayal, hatred, separation across continents, the bond remains unseverable. In exchange for these harsh terms, both partners grow stronger in tandem as their affinity rises. Over time, life bond pairs boast combat power far exceeding regular contract teams of the same stage, creating an overwhelming power gap. Typically, beast tamers and spirit beasts sign regular contracts first, fight side by side for years, build deep trust and chemistry, then carefully choose to form a life bond. For this reason, out of over 8,000 students at Linhai University, the number of life bond pairs can be counted on one hand, and all of them were veteran partners of 3 or 4 years. Why would a beast tamer demand a life bond right away? Not to mention the ritual of forming the bond and the process of raising affinity afterward. Mu Chenxi's eyes darted involuntarily toward the single bed in the corner of the dorm, her face burning hotter. Su Yang watched her flustered reaction with a half smirk. If you refuse, we can drop this entirely. The words made Mu Chenxi make up her mind instantly. I agree. I'll sign a life bond contract with you. She knew her situation all too well. A grade F black-scaled serpent had zero prospects in this beast-tamer world, where even cannon fodder roles had waiting lines for low-grade bloodlines. Its highest standard evolution only reached grade C dark serpent, and advancing from F to E alone cost hundreds of thousands of currency, a sum far beyond her reach. No one was willing to waste resources or a contract slot on a spirit beast doomed to mediocrity. But Su Yang was a beast tamer with a hidden talent. Even if everyone mocked his talent as a useless gimmick, he was still an unpaired tamer. A hidden talent tamer offering a life bond to a grade F spirit beast. This was an unbeatable deal for her. Without this contract, she had no future at all. With it, she at least had a chance to gamble on a better life. Su Yang smiled faintly and stepped aside. Come in. Mu Chinsi swallowed hard, took a deep breath, and stepped into the dorm. The room was far tidier than she'd expected. No piles of dirty laundry, no crumpled tissue scattered across the floor. Books and supplies neatly arranged on the desk. Yet the orderliness did nothing to calm her racing heart. Her pulse only quickened. She knew exactly what was about to happen. Still, this opportunity would likely never come again. You came here to contract with me, so I assume you know the life bond ritual? I do. Good. Let's seal the contract now. Su Yang stepped in front of her, swept her off her feet in a bridal carry, and carried her a few steps over to the bed. 15 minutes later. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have successfully formed a life bond contract with Mu Chensi. 1 extra critical strike sign and chance rewarded. Would you like to sign in now? Su Yang caught his breath. This was exactly what he'd been waiting for. Sign in. Ding. Critical strike sign incomplete. Critical reward obtained. Congratulations, host. You have obtained the hidden talent. Power Resonance. Name. Su Yang. Stage. Tier 2 Stage 1. Beast Tamer Talents. Seamless Perfection. Spirit Beast Atavism. Power Resonance. Contracted Partner. Mu Chinsi Grade F Black Scaled Serpent. Skills. None. A massive boost to affinity growth efficiency. Interesting. Su Yang's gaze fell on her flushed skin. Affinity cultivation was the perfect way to raise their bond. If Power Resonance amplified the process this drastically, then more cultivation sessions were only better. With that thought, he rolled back over to her. 1 hour later. Ding. Affinity threshold for atavistic evolution met. Initiate atavistic evolution path. That fast. Su Yang raised an eyebrow. This was the power of Power Resonance. Counting the contract ritual, only 4 rounds of affinity cultivation had pushed them straight to the atavism threshold. This efficiency was absurdly high. Initiated. Ding. Bloodline atavism activated successfully. Life bond partner Mu Chinsi has completed her first atavistic evolution. Name. Mu Chinsi. Bloodline. Grade C Shadow Python. Stage. Tier 1 Stage 7. Skills. Tail Sweep. Shadow Glide. Unlocked atavistic path. God Tier Candle Dragon. Su Yang blinked in surprise. The evolution finished just like that? Didn't atavistic evolution require materials? And she jumped straight from F to grade C in one go. A regular grade F spirit beast needed hundreds of thousands of currency just for base materials to evolve to E. E to D, then D to C, would cost well over $1 million total. The only minor downside he could think of was that it took quite a toll on his stamina. Su Yang glanced down at Mu Chinsi. She'd fallen fast asleep, completely unaware of the transformation her body had undergone. He sighed softly. This girl has terrible stamina. I'm the one who put in all the work, and she's already passed out. It made sense, though. Grade F bloodline bearers never get picked for contracts, so they can't fight or train, leaving their physical stamina abysmal. Unlike him, when he'd been contracted with Lin Rushua, he maintained seamless perfection while tracking every single one of her movements mid-battle. His mental exertion was triple hers every fight. 6 months of that forged incredible focus and endurance, an unexpected silver lining. A yawn overtook him, heavy drowsiness washing over his mind. Su Yang pulled the warm figure beside him into his arms, drew her close, and closed his eyes, falling into deep sleep. Early the next morning, Su Yang was roused by faint rustling sounds. He blinked awake groggily to find the space beside him empty. Soft clinking of cookware and sizzling oil drifted over from the kitchen. He turned his head toward the noise, and his mind snapped fully awake. Mu Chinsi stood at the stove, wearing nothing but a plain white apron tied loosely in a bow at her back. The ribbons swaying gently as she moved. This was a male dormitory. She was cooking dressed like that? Was it intentional? Su Yang leaned against the bed frame and watched her for a few seconds, a faint smirk tugging at his mouth. This girl was a little scheming minx, for sure. At the same time, the system interface materialized before his eyes. Daily quest. Complete one of the two following tasks to earn one sign in attempt. Task 1. 3 rounds of affinity cultivation with your contracted partner. Task 2. Slay 10 monster beasts of equal or higher stage than the host. Soo-young glanced at the quest list, then back at the apron-clad figure in the kitchen. This quest was practically tailor-made for him. He slipped on his slippers and walked into the kitchen, wrapping both arms around Mu Chinsi's slender waist from behind. Mu Chinsi stiffened for a split second before relaxing, pink blush spreading across her cheeks. Her spatula paused mid-air, then she turned down the stove flame naturally, resting both hands lightly on the counter and bending forward slightly. The steamed buns are in the warmer. These side dishes cook quickly, so I'm not in a rush. Brother Soo-young, take all the time you want. An hour later, the two finally sat down for breakfast. He'd naturally completed the 3 affinity cultivation rounds, unlocking a sign in attempt. Soo-young had no intention of saving it for later. Sign in. Ding. 2 consecutive days of sign-ins completed. Reward issued. Congratulations, host. You have obtained the skill, Advanced Hand-to-Hand Combat. Soo-young's chopsticks froze mid-air as he stared at the new reward on his system panel. Regular sign-ins gave far weaker rewards than critical strike ones. Yesterday's 2 critical sign-ins had gifted him 2 game-changing hidden talents, while today's normal sign-in only granted a combat skill. It wasn't useless by any means, but he was a beast tamer. His role was to stand behind his spirit beast and offer support. Why would he need to charge headfirst into melee combat against monster beasts? But the critical hit reward for signing in 3 days straight was right around the corner. It would activate tomorrow. He'd gotten 2 hidden talents from the previous 2 critical hits. What would tomorrow bring? Soo-young could barely contain his anticipation. Seeing his distracted state, Mu Chinsi grew nervous and set down her chopsticks carefully. Brother Soo, is the food not to your taste? Soo-young snapped back to reality and smiled. It's nothing. The food is delicious. Thank goodness. Mu Chinsi visibly relaxed, picked up her chopsticks again, and sipped her porridge in tiny mouthfuls. Finish eating and come to the trial zone with me, Soo-young suggested. He still hadn't seen how strong Mu Chinsi was after her atavistic evolution, and he needed to test her power. The school's trial zone was the perfect place for that. The trial zone. Mu Chinsi thought for a moment, then nodded. All right, let's give it a try. 20 minutes later, the two stepped out of the dormitory building. The moment they appeared, every pair of eyes swiveled to stare at them. Isn't that Soo-young? Holy hell, it really is him. He only terminated his contract with Lin Rushua yesterday, and already he's with someone new. Wait a second. Who dumped who anyway? Who cares? Look at the girl beside him. Huh. What's her name again? Mu Chinsi? I heard she's an F-grade bloodline holder, right? A hidden talent paired with an F-grade bloodline? That combo's ridiculous. What's so weird about it? Soo-young's hidden talent was always useless deadweight. Name one spirit beast willing to partner with him now. Even Lin Rushua bailed, so he's stuck chasing an F-grade nobody. Still, Mu Chinsi's drop-dead gorgeous. Even if it's just for looks, being with her must be nice. What good does looks do? F-grade is F-grade. She'll probably get expelled after the final exams. What future does an expelled student have these days? Overhearing the murmurs all around them, Mu Chinsi slowed her steps unconsciously, convinced she was dragging Soo-young down. Warm, steady hands suddenly landed lightly on her shoulder. Pay them no mind. Within a day, I'll make all of them shut their mouths for good. Mu Chinsi stared up at him blankly. If those words had come from anyone else, she'd have written them off as empty boasting. But spoken by Soo-young, they carried an unshakable weight of certainty. Okay, I believe you. She nodded softly and edged closer to him, their shoulders pressing together. She had nothing left to lose anyway. Now that she'd chosen Soo-young, she'd trust him wholeheartedly. Soon after, they reached Linhai University's trial zone. Built exclusively for student combat training, the zone was split into 4 separate areas, each corresponding to a different difficulty tier. The first trial zone was Ghost Maple Forest on the school's back mountain. All magical beasts dwelling there were below rank 2, making it the easiest area ideal for combat beginners. Soo-young had chosen the first trial zone with a clear goal in mind. This was Mu Chinsi's first real battle. She needed a low-pressure environment to get used to fighting rhythms. You eat rice 1 spoonful at a time, walk roads 1 step at a time. Even the most overpowered atavistic bloodline needed to be honed from the basics up. Yet as they reached the forest's entrance, Soo-young spotted a familiar figure. Brother Tian, why pick this place? Lin Rushua asked in confusion. With my strength, I could handle the second or even third trial zone easily. Why waste time on the first? The young man beside her, Wang Haoyan, shook his head with a smile. Better safe than sorry. We only just formed our contract, and neither of us knows the other's fighting style well yet. If we jump straight into high-difficulty areas, a misstep in coordination could get you hurt. The final assessment's right around the corner. If anything happened to you, my heart would break. Be good. Let's iron out our teamwork here first. Once our synergy's solid, we can head to the other zones anytime. Lin Rushua pouted in complaint. But fighting these lowly below rank 2 beasts won't show off my true power at all. Lin Rushua. Wang Haoyan's tone turned sharp and serious. I formed a contract with you not because of how strong you are, but because I like you. I don't want anything else clouding our bond. Do you understand? Lin Rushua's lips twisted into a petty pout before she relented. Fine, fine, Brother Tian, I'll listen to you. Right after she spoke, her peripheral vision caught Su Yang and Mu Qinxi walking toward the entrance. In an instant, the shy, soft expression on her face froze over, cold as if she'd spotted something filthy. Wang Haoyan noticed her shift in mood and turned to follow her line of sight. When he laid eyes on Su Yang, a knowing, mocking smirk tugged at his lips. Well, look who it is. The famous Su Yang of our school. Dumped yesterday and already parading a new girl around the trial zone. Your game's impressive, isn't it? Though this girl, if I'm not mistaken, this freshman's Mu Qinxi, right? F-grade black scaled snake bloodline. Only 15 F-grade students in the entire year. I'd remember that. A beast master with nothing but a worthless hidden talent title paired with an F-grade spirit beast good for nothing but eye candy. You two make quite the matching pair. Slap. Before Wang Haoyan could finish his sneering remark, Su Yang swung his right arm wide and landed a brutal blow square across his right cheek. A dull thud echoed as Wang Haoyan spun a full 720 degrees through the air before crashing heavily to the ground like a sack of discarded trash. The entire motion was fluid, seamless, and instantaneous. Lin Rushua stood frozen stiff. Mu Qinxi stared in stunned silence too. Neither could process what had just happened. Su Yang glanced down at his own right hand, faintly surprised himself. That slap had been pure reflex, yet he hadn't expected such devastating force behind it. High-grade hand-to-hand combat arts were far more powerful than he'd imagined. And this was only high-grade. If he mastered top-grade or god-tier combat arts, would he be able to tear magical beasts apart barehanded? The flicker of shock lasted less than a split second on his face before his calm, unruffled expression returned. He waved his right hand casually in front of his eyes. Saw a fly buzzing around just now. Tried swatting it. Looks like I missed. Wang Haoyan stumbled shakily back to his feet. His first instinct was to scream curses. Where was any fly? It hit him a beat later that the fly Su Yang referenced was none other than himself. You son of a bitch, you're dead meat. Wang Haoyan shot his right hand upward, ready to channel his Beastmaster power and awaken Lin Rushua's bloodline. But his power had barely circulated for half a second when, crackle, a blinding blue electric arc burst out of thin air. Wang Haoyan jolted backward 2 steps as if struck by a taser, clutching his wrist while his face flushed beet red with rage and pain. Su Yang stood rooted in place, grinning. Beastmaster power is forbidden on campus, Senior Wang. Surely you know that rule. Every Beastmaster university maintained a full campus barrier. Anyone who channeled Beastmaster power within its bounds would trigger an automatic countermeasure. The rule existed for 2 reasons. First, to stop students recklessly unleashing spirit beast power to damage campus property and facilities. Second, word had it that some Beastmasters and their beasts had engaged in inappropriate, scandalous behavior in the past, tarnishing the school's reputation. So the school enforced an outright ban. Beastmaster power could only be used in designated zones. Only inside the trial zones, arena, and practical combat training grounds was channeling power permitted. And Ghost Maple Forest's entrance still fell within the barrier's coverage. Witnessing the raw strength Su Yang had displayed, Wang Haoyan dared not retaliate physically. Instead, he pointed an accusing finger at Su Yang like a scolded child and shouted, "You dared hit me? No one's ever laid a hand on me. Not even my own father." Su Yang let out a cold scoff. "I hit you for a reason. You know full well what garbage you've been spreading." With that, he paid the pair no more attention, slipped an arm around Mu Qinxi's slender waist, and turned to walk into Ghost Maple Forest. Lin Rushua stood motionless, replaying the scene over and over in her head. The force, speed, and crisp precision of that slap were nothing like the useless man she remembered, the boy who always lingered in the back line, unable to even conjure a single skill effect. They'd held a contract for 6 full months, fought dozens of battles side by side, and she'd never once suspected he possessed such devastating physical strength. Doubt crept into her heart. Had she thrown away something irreplaceable? Wang Haoyan sat on the ground clutching his stinging cheek, spitting constant insults. Yet she didn't hear a single word he said. Deep inside Ghost Maple Forest, towering maple trees blotted out nearly all sunlight, leaving only thin streaks of golden light filtering through the canopy. The air reeked of damp soil mixed with the faint, metallic stench of magical beasts. Mu Qinzi walked lighter beside Su Yang, stealing repeated sideways glances at his profile. Finally, unable to hold back her curiosity any longer, she asked excitedly, "Brother Su, are you always that strong in fights?" That slap packed enough power to take down most rank 1 spirit beasts. Su Yang tilted his head toward her, the corner of his mouth tugging upward. "You saw how impressive I was last night, didn't you?" Mu Qinzi's face flushed bright red at his words. She lightly tapped his arm and whispered, "But speaking of Wang Haoyan, what did he do to earn that slap? It felt like more than just his rude words got to you." Su Yang shrugged and explained casually, 9 out of 10 of the rumors spreading about me around campus were planted by him and his lackeys. I don't care that my contract with Lin Rushua fell apart, but I'm not the type to swallow humiliation and let people slander me without fighting back. That slap was actually going easy on him." Mu Qinzi nodded thoughtfully, a strange sense of security washing over her. Had she really latched onto an incredible powerhouse? Meanwhile, Su Yang replayed the system panel he'd glimpsed moments earlier in his mind. Name: Lin Rushua, Bloodline. B-grade Glacial Snow Leopard. Rank: Rank 2 Stage 1. Skill: Glacial Tier, Evolution Path. A grade Absolute Ice Leopard. Atavism Path: None. It seemed not every spirit beast could unlock an atavism path. The atavistic bloodline hidden talent was overpowered, yet it was selective. Only spirit beasts bearing faint lingering marks of ancient primal ancestors deep within their blood were eligible to walk the road of atavistic evolution. Lin Rushua's Glacial Snow Leopard bloodline held a decent grade, yet it clearly lacked that ancient heritage. Perhaps it was simply fate. Outside Ghost Maple Forest's entrance at the same time, Lin Rushua helped Wang Haoyan onto a stone bench by the path. "Brother Tian, are you alright? Do I look alright?" Wang Haoyan snapped, utterly exasperated. He'd been coddled his entire life and had never endured such public humiliation. What baffled him most was how a mere beastmaster could possess such monstrous physical fitness. That slap's brute strength was impossible for a backline support who never fought up close. Lin Rushua fell silent, yet the unsettling thoughts swirling in her mind grew stronger. For 6 months fighting alongside Su Yang, she'd always written him off as a dead weight she needed to protect. She charged forward in every battle while he idled uselessly behind her. Looking back now, over dozens of fights in half a year, she'd never sustained a single serious injury. Had Su Yang's hidden talent been silently active all along? Were all the last-minute surges of strength she'd credited to herself actually Su Yang secretly covering for her? Had she truly thrown away something extraordinary? She had to find out for certain. Turning to Wang Haoyan, she spoke up. "No matter how good Su Yang's hand-to-hand combat is, he's still just a beastmaster at the end of the day. He'd never beat me in a real spirit beast fight. Let's head into the trial zone and watch him." Wang Haoyan had been desperate for a chance to get revenge, and he agreed instantly. He had to settle this score. Deep within Ghost Maple Forest, less than 20 meters ahead, a massive frog-type magical beast squatted beneath a dead tree. Su Yang's gaze sharpened, and the system panel popped open automatically. Species: Magic Pattern Frog. Rank: Rank 1 Stage 5. Tier: Minion Tier. Skill: Venom Spray. Description: its bodily venom is highly toxic, yet also a primary ingredient for healing salves. Magic Pattern Frogs were notoriously tricky minion tier beasts. Their venom spray had an effective range of over 15 meters, and any direct hit would inflict severe chemical burns. Though slow-moving, they boasted thick, tough hides with above-average defense for Rank 1 monsters. For rookie spirit beasts, they were nothing short of a nightmare. Mu Qinzi stood beside Su Yang, swallowing nervously as she stared at the frog. "Can I really fight it?" Magic Pattern Frogs are infamous for being tough, their venom's brutal, and their skin's so thick. "How will you know if you don't try?" Su Yang smiled to reassure her. "Don't worry, I'll back you up the whole time. It won't lay a single scratch on you." Mu Qinzi met his eyes, took a deep breath, and nodded firmly. "I understand. I'll give it my all." Su Yang raised his right palm, a swirl of golden light igniting in his hand. The light stretched into a thin golden thread that snaked from his palm to Mu Qinzi's back, melting silently into her body. Mu Qinzi's frame glowed instantly, wrapped inside a luminous cocoon as her silhouette shifted and reshaped within it. The entire transformation lasted less than 2 seconds. The light cocoon shattered apart, and Mu Chinsi's human form vanished entirely. In her place coiled a colossal black python atop the dead leaf litter. Over 5 meters long, its body was covered in pitch-black scales shimmering with faint dark purple luster. The shadows surrounding its massive frame seemed to twist and writhe alive. A terrifying, oppressive aura radiated off its every scale, a genuinely intimidating sight to behold. And this was only after her first atavistic evolution. Suyang quietly drew in a sharp breath. The atavistic bloodline talent was absurdly overpowered, truly worthy of being a hidden talent. She looked this formidable after just one atavistic awakening. How unstoppable would she become after multiple evolutions? Mu Chinsi, in python form, was far more stunned than Suyang. Ever since her awakening, she'd only been a thin black scaled snake less than a meter long, barely thick as an arm, hardly enough to qualify as a snack for these forest beasts. She'd never dared imagine she could transform into something this massive. What's happening to me? How did I turn into this? Suyang didn't elaborate, only smiled and shot back a question. Well, still think you can't win. If I lose like this, I might as well slam my head into tofu. The words barely left her mind when the shadow python's giant body sank seamlessly into the ground's shadows. The magic pattern frog remained completely oblivious to the incoming danger. Less than 3 meters behind it, the shadows bulged upward silently as the python's upper body surged out of the darkness. Tail sweep. The dead leaves beneath the frog were crushed to find dust in the wake of the python's tail strike. No fancy techniques, pure overwhelming speed and raw power. Boom. The magic pattern frog didn't even have time to let out a croak before its entire body was flattened into a pulpy mess. One hit instant kill. At that moment, a black-purple crystal core the size of a tennis ball rolled out from the frog's shattered corpse. A magical beast core, rank 1, with a mere 1 in 20 drop rate. He'd never expected her to loot one on their first trip here. Her luck was incredible. A flash of golden light wrapped the shadow python's giant form, shrinking it rapidly back into Mu Chinsi's human shape. She stood frozen, staring down at her trembling fingertips. It wasn't fear making her shake, it was pure excitement. I one-shot a magic pattern frog with a single blow? As an F-grade bloodline spirit beast, she'd only ever faced scorn and dismissal her whole life. She hadn't fought a single real battle in the entire half-year since her awakening. This was her very first combat experience, and she'd scored an instant kill. It felt utterly surreal. Suyang stepped forward, picked up the beast core, and gently ruffled the top of her head. I told you there was nothing to fear. I've got your back. Mu Chinsi snapped back to her senses. She'd felt a subtle shift mid-strike just now. Her tail sweep had originally been aimed at the frog's ribs, only enough force to knock it flying, not kill outright. Yet at the last split second, her attack had veered off course automatically, striking a fatal weak point dead on. That level of precise targeting was impossible for a complete novice's combat instincts. There was only one explanation. That was amazing, Brother Su. I could feel it just now. My strike wasn't supposed to hit its vital spot, but it landed perfectly anyway. Mu Chinsi looked up at him with admiration and asked, Is this all because of your innate talent? Yangshuo retracted his hand and nodded. You could say that. His flawless art had pulled off 3 feats in that single split second just now. It weakened the magic pattern frog's evasion perception. It upgraded Mu Chinsi's tail sweep from a regular hit to a critical strike targeting vital spots. It fine-tuned the angle of her attack to let her power reach its absolute maximum. The stacking of these 3 effects had created that stunning one-hit instant kill. Yet every single one of these manipulations was invisible. No special effects, no glowing lights, not a single trace outsiders could detect. Spectators would only ever see the spirit beast unleash devastating power, while the beast itself would most likely chalk it all up to sheer luck. After hearing his explanation, Mu Chinsi lowered her head and fell silent for 2 seconds. Then the corners of her mouth crept upward involuntarily. Was Lin Rushua out of her mind? A beast master this powerful, and she'd claimed he was useless? She'd even voluntarily severed their contract with him? Did she have terrible eyesight, or was her brain simply not working right? Still, Lin Rushua's foolishness was a stroke of incredible luck for her. If Lin Rushua hadn't broken the contract on her own, Mu Chinsi never would have gotten this golden opportunity. With that thought, Mu Chinsi silently gave Lin Rushua a mental thumbs up. But right away, a far bigger question surfaced in her mind. The shadow python she'd transformed into just now matched none of the official recorded evolution paths for black scale snakes, not in form, nor in its skills. It was an entirely new, undocumented evolutionary variant. How on earth had he pulled that off? Yangshuo, about my bloodline. I'll explain everything to you slowly later. Yang Shou cut her off. For now, all you need to do is get fully familiar with your own abilities. Come on, let's keep training. Got it. Mu Qinxi nodded and fell into step beside him. Gone was the nervousness she'd felt when they first entered Ghost Maple Forest. All that remained was unshakable confidence. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of Ghost Maple Forest, Lin Ruxue and Wang Haoyin had encountered their first magical beast since entering the trial zone. A dozen meters ahead, an ox-shaped monster lowered its head, rooting around a pile of broken stones. Hot, heavy snorts from its nostrils sent pebbles skittering across the ground. Shadow-horned ox, Tier 1 Stage 5 minion class. Thick-skinned, immensely strong. Alongside the magic pattern frog, it was known as one of the two newbie slayers. Countless first-year students had suffered brutal defeats beneath its iron horns. To Lin Ruxue, a monster of this caliber wasn't even worth warming up against. Just last month, she'd single-handedly torn apart a Tier 2 Stage 5 elite class Iron Ridge Bear. A genuine cross-tier kill that had spread like wildfire all across Linhai University. A measly Tier 1 Stage 5 minion class beast barely had enough meat to whet her appetite. To make things even better, Wang Haoyin's Beastmaster talent was Blood Rage Taunt, an extremely practical support ability. When activated, it forced monsters to fixate all their hatred onto him while drastically boosting the power of his contracted partner's next strike. Paired with an explosive-type spirit beast, this talent unleashed devastating damage. Lin Ruxue possessed a B-rank glacial snow leopard bloodline, unmatched among her peers in burst power and opportunistic strikes. Their partnership was practically a flawless complementary combo. Wang Haoyin had already mapped out the entire battle in his head. He'd taunt and draw aggro. Lin Ruxue would land a one-shot kill, and the fight would wrap up cleanly within 10 seconds. He raised his right hand, channeling his Beastmaster power to manifest Lin Ruxue's beast form. Here we go. Wang Haoyin burst out from behind a thicket in a quick lunge, a thick stench of blood spreading outward from his body. Blood Rage Taunt activated. The Shadow-horned ox's massive body stiffened at once. Its bovine eyes flooded crimson, and it threw back its head to let out a thunderous roar. Its front hooves scraped furrows into the ground, sending stones flying. Then it dropped its head and charged straight at Wang Haoyin in a ferocious bull rush. Now's your chance, Ruxue. I see it. Lin Ruxue, transformed into a glacial snow leopard, pushed off the ground with all four limbs. Using the maple trees around her to pull off a sharp pivot leap, she appeared directly above the shadow-horned ox in the blink of an eye. Icy blue spiritual energy condensed rapidly between her claws, forming half-meter-long ice blades that she slashed downward with full force. Glacial Rend. Wang Haoyin knew this move all too well. It was this exact skill that had slit the Iron Ridge Bear's throat last month, killing it instantly. That elite class Tier 2 monster had far thicker, tougher hide than the shadow-horned ox standing before them now. With his Blood Rage Taunt amplifying her attack power even further, taking down this Tier 1 Stage 5 minion should be as simple as chopping vegetables. Yet reality deviated wildly from his expectations. The icy blue claw blades sliced through the air and landed dead center on the ox's back. Clang. Splinters of ice crystal sprayed out from the strike, and then, nothing. Only 3 faint white scratches marred its iron-gray thick hide, not a single drop of blood drawn. The Shadow-horned ox didn't even falter mid-charge. It kept bearing down on Wang Haoyin, its iron horns pointed forward. Are you kidding me? Countless questions flooded Wang Haoyin's mind in an instant. How had she missed the vital spot? And what was with that pitiful damage output? Buffed by Blood Rage Taunt, her strike should have hit harder than the blow that killed the Iron Ridge Bear last month. She'd one-shot an elite Tier 2 beast, yet this minion Tier 1 monster barely took a scratch. It was like swinging a dragon-slaying blade at a loach, only for the sword to chip while the loach swam away unharmed. This level of absurdity was off the charts. But Wang Haoyin had no time to dwell on it. The shadow-horned ox was already barreling straight for him. Shit. Stay away from me. Bang. Wang Haoyin went flying backward, slamming hard into the trunk of a maple tree several meters away. Ugh. He coughed up a mouthful of blood, though he hadn't lost consciousness yet. Lin Ruxue, what the hell were you thinking? You almost got me killed. Lin Ruxue stood frozen in shock. She stared down at her claws, then at the unharmed shadow-horned ox, then at Wang Haoyin crumpled beneath the tree spitting blood. Her mind seized up, spinning wildly in confusion. This was wrong. Everything was completely wrong. She'd struck with the exact same timing and force as all her past battles, so why had her blow landed on its bony back plating instead of a vital weak point? And why was the damage so drastically weaker? She refused to believe it. Leaping down from the tree branch, she locked onto the ox's single horn and unleashed glacial rend once more. Again, she missed. The shadow-horned ox tilted its head at the precise moment her claws fell. The ice slash sliced diagonally through its right front leg, severing the limb clean off. Now it was a stationary target. A monster trapped on the ground couldn't possibly dodge again, right? Gritting her teeth, Lin Rushua unleashed glacial rend a third time. This strike finally connected, but the shadow-horned ox didn't die. A full 5 minor tiers separated their levels. She'd landed a direct critical hit, and she'd had the Blood Rage taunt attack boost. Yet she still couldn't instantly kill a Tier 1 Stage 5 minion beast? This was impossible. She couldn't accept it, not for a second. She flailed her claws in a frantic storm of strikes, slashing wildly at the downed ox. The poor shadow-horned ox writhed on the ground for a full 2.5 minutes before drawing its final breath, mercifully put out of its misery by Lin Rushue's hysterical, relentless assault. By this point, Wang Haoyan stumbled unsteadily to his feet, leaning against the tree trunk. Blood foam stained the corners of his mouth, unwiped away. Lin Rushua. What the hell was that mess? Lin Rushua reverted to her human form, standing dazed in place. I just... She had no idea how to explain what had happened. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not at all. In the past, minion-class Tier 1 monsters were trivial for her. Even elite-class Tier 2 beasts fell easily. Every battle ended in a clean one-shot kill, so effortless she'd thought herself a once-in-a-genius talent. But now, a sudden realization crashed over her. Could all those victories I pulled off before have only been possible because of Yangshuo's talent? And I never even noticed? Lin Rushua was on the verge of breaking down entirely. She'd always thought she was the powerhouse, and Yangshuo nothing more than dead weight clinging to her side. Now she understood the truth. She'd been the one relying on him, and he'd been the true powerhouse all along. She'd thrown away her greatest ace with her own 2 hands. Wang Haoyan paid no attention to Lin Rushua's devastated expression. All he could replay in his head was the sight of himself being sent flying and coughing blood. Useless. Do you realize I nearly died back there? Didn't you claim you could one-shot Tier 2 elite beasts? Where's that instant kill now? You spent forever hacking away at a lowly Tier 1 Stage 5 minion. Are you kidding me? Before he could finish his rant, the entire ground began to shake violently. A string of deafening cracks echoed in the distance as trees snapped in half. Wang Haoyan and Lin Rushua both twisted their heads to look and froze solid. A giant rat the size of a small car was charging straight toward them. Tier 1 Stage 10 Rock Pine Rat, an elite-class monster, the overlord beast of the first trial zone. How did this thing get all the way out here? Apex overlord beasts are supposed to stay confined to the central zone. Once upon a time, spotting an elite-class monster would have excited Lin Rushua instead of frightening her. Elite beasts dropped monster cores at over 10 times the rate of minion class ones, plus rare breakthrough materials on top of that. But things were different now. She'd exhausted most of her stamina, just struggling to take down a Tier 1 Stage 5 minion moments earlier. Wang Haoyan's Blood Rage taunt was still on cooldown. He couldn't use it again anytime soon. Monster ranks were ordered from lowest to highest. Minion, Elite, Captain, Lord, Monarch. The gap in combat strength between each rank was a sheer vertical drop in power. Even an elite beast only marginally higher level than a minion possessed an insurmountable power advantage. Run. They had to run. Now, immediately. But the next second, something far more terrifying unfolded. The shadows stretching out before the rock pine rat rippled violently. Then a massive abyssal maw surged forth, clamping tight around the rat's neck. It was a colossal black python, even larger than the rock pine rat itself. The rat thrashed with all its might, but it was futile. The python's body slithered fully out from the shadows, coiling tight around the rat's massive torso and squeezing harder by the second. Crack, crunch. The sickening sound of shattering bones echoed nonstop. In mere seconds, the rock pine rat's corpse was crushed into a mangled mass of flesh. A monster core and a tawny crystalline fragment rolled free onto the dirt. Wang Haoyan and Lin Rushua stood completely dumbfounded. Had those two monsters just fought each other to the death? No. The aura emanating from the black python was the distinct spiritual energy signature of a contracted spirit beast, laced with faint residual traces of beastmaster power. This was a beast bound to a human partner. Every student at Linhai University ought to recognize a spirit beast of this caliber, yet neither of them could recall anyone who contracted a giant black python. A flash of black light erupted next. The python's enormous form shrank rapidly within the glow, and a slender young woman stepped out into view. Honestly, why run? Couldn't you two just wait quietly for your end? Mu Chinsi stuffed the monster core and tawny crystal casually into her pocket. Still, not a bad haul. I got a monster core plus an amber crystal. Should sell for a decent sum. Lucky me. Behind her, a young man ambled slowly out from the maple grove. Yang Shou glanced at the mangled corpse on the ground and shook his head helplessly. I told you to block its escape routes before striking. Instead, you scared it off straight away. We chased it halfway across the zone for nothing, wasting all that stamina. Mu Chinsi spun around and stuck her tongue out at him. It's only 'cause I got excited. It's a tier 1 stage 10 elite beast, you know? I never even dared dream I'd fight something this strong before. Messing up a little my first time against an opponent this tough is totally normal. Yang Shou reached out and tapped her lightly on the top of her head. All right, it's nothing major. We'll wrap up today's training here. Head back and rest well. Tomorrow I'll take you to mess around in the second trial zone. Okay. Mu Chinsi nodded, naturally looping her arm through Yang Shou's, practically clinging to his side. The pair chatted and laughed as they walked toward the exit of the first trial zone. Not once did they spare a glance toward where Wang Haoyan and Lin Rushua stood rooted to the spot. It was only after Yang Shou and Mu Chinsi's figures vanished entirely into the maple forest shadows that Wang Haoyan and Lin Rushua snapped back to reality, gasping for ragged breaths. That was Mu Chinsi? Wang Haoyan stared in complete bewilderment. An F-rank black-scale snake? How the hell is that supposed to be F-rank? Lin Rushua stood rigid, her eyes fixed blankly on the direction Yang Shou had disappeared. Her pupils were hollow, her face ashen as death. Her past one-shot victories against the Tier 2 Stage 5 Iron Ridge Bear hadn't come from her own strength. Yang Shou had been quietly optimizing every single detail from behind the scenes the entire time. All her attack power, every perfectly timed burst strike, had been secretly bolstered by his unique talent. For half a year, she'd benefited from a god-tier support without ever realizing it. Arrogant enough to think she carried the partnership while Yang Shou dragged her down. If she went to find Yang Shou now and begged to reform their lifebound contract, would he accept her? Meanwhile, Principal's office in the Linhai University Administration Building. Principal Zhao Chun sighed heavily and set his teacup down hard on the desk. I knew this would happen. Li Lei, I warned you, but you wouldn't listen. Sending second years into the first trial zone was nothing short of bullying weaker opponents. And look what came of it. They submitted the application this morning, and by noon the zone's overlord beast was already dead. What are the first years supposed to train against now? Boulders? Second-year Counselor Li Lei let out a matching long sigh. Principal, normally I never would have approved this request, but the spirit beast in question belongs to second-year Lin Rushua, the girl who single-handedly killed that Tier 2 Stage 5 Elite Iron Ridge Bear last month. You know as well as I do, her power stands head and shoulders above everyone at her level. Cross-tier kills are routine for her. Word spread fast yesterday when Lin Rushua severed her contract with Yang Shou, then formed a new bond with fellow second-year Wang Haoyan. You've heard the rumors too. Students have long dismissed Yang Shou's hidden talent as a useless gimmick. After the contract split, everyone's been gossiping that Yang Shou's a total dead weight, who only got by thanks to Lin Rushua carrying him. This was the perfect chance to run a controlled comparison test, the exact same spirit beast, paired with a different beastmaster, to see just how capable the beast truly was on its own. All monsters in the first trial zone were below Tier 2. Even if something went wrong with Lin Rushua, the safety risk would have been minimal, which is why I signed off on the application. I never imagined she'd act this fast, wiping out the zone overlord before lunch. Zhao Chen shook his head after hearing him out. If she could one-shot a Tier 2 Stage 5 Elite Beast, that Spirit Beast's own base strength must already be exceptional. Its performance shouldn't change no matter who its partner is. You're outstanding at teaching, but you lack flexibility in situations like this. Dropping high-level Spirit Beasts into low-difficulty trial zones is plain unfair bullying. It doesn't matter who their Beastmaster is. Li Lei forced a bitter smile and offered no rebuttal. Lin Rushua's solo kill on the Tier 2 Elite Bear was an unarguable, proven feat, proof her raw power was genuinely formidable. Faced with that level of overwhelming strength, the identity of the Beastmaster truly barely made a difference. Looking back, it was clear he hadn't thought the decision all the way through. To stop upper-year Beastmaster teams from steamrolling weaker trial zones and leaving lower-grade students with no suitable monsters to train against, the university had long enforced a strict tiered entry policy. Any upper-year Beastmaster or Spirit Beast wishing to enter a low-difficulty trial zone had to submit a formal application in advance, explain their reasoning, and wait for official approval before entry. This system had run smoothly for decades with zero major incidents. No one could have predicted something like this would unfold. They'd only let the pair enter that morning, and by midday the zone's apex overlord was gone. Still, calming down to think logically. With Wang Haoyan's blood rage taunt support stacked alongside Lin Rushue's monstrous burst and opportunistic fighting instincts, taking down the first trial zone's overlord beast was well within their capabilities. It would have been completely normal for their team to slay an elite-class monster. Never mind. I'll contact the trial zone administrator and tell him to capture another elite-class beast to release into the zone. The freshman can't be left with no proper opponents to challenge. Li Lei stood up, turning to head for the door. His hand had barely touched the doorknob when the office door swung open from the outside. Su Dong, the trial zone's lead administrator, strode quickly inside. Teacher Li, perfect timing. Wang Haoyan's injured and lying in the infirmary right now. At those words, both Li Lei and Zhao Chun froze in shock. What? How's that possible? Wang Haoyan and Lin Rushue's team should have easily dominated the first trial zone. How did either of them get hurt? Exactly. What happened to them? Su Dong watched their confused expressions and shook his head with a weary, bitter smile. He'd known the two administrators would react exactly like this. He'd thought exactly the same thing before watching the footage in the monitoring room. Principal, Teacher Li, we've just pulled up the surveillance footage from the trial zone. The recording shows Wang Haoyan and Lin Rushue fighting a minion-tier shadow horned ox. Their coordination fell apart, and the beast charged straight into Wang Haoyan, sending him flying. He crashed back first into a tree trunk and sustained severe injuries. That rock mole, it was killed by Su Yang and Mu Qinxi. One hit, instant kill. Silence crashed over the room the second the words left his mouth. Confusion melted into shock on Li Lei's face. Are you certain? He knew those two names all too well. One was a beast tamer branded talentless trash just yesterday, paired with an F-rank spirit beast barely stable enough to hold a contract. Had this pairing slain the elite-tier overlord monster of the first trial zone? And with a single strike? Principal Zhao Chun slammed his palm on the desk and shot to his feet. Show me the footage. Right here. Su Dong had come prepared. He pulled a video recorder from his pocket and hit play. Li Lei stepped beside Zhao Chun, the two of them leaning in side by side to stare at the screen. A minute later, both men were utterly dumbfounded. How the hell is that an F-rank bloodline? This has to be a joke. What kind of talent can boost power this drastically? It did not take long for a curious glint to spread across Zhao Chen's features. I see now. It's not Lin Rushue who's formidable. It's this boy Su Yang. Li Lei snapped back to reality and pushed up his black-framed glasses. This flawless, invisible buff skill is far more extraordinary than we initially thought. It leaves no visible effects, no ripples of spiritual energy on the surface, and that's precisely what makes it terrifying. A silent, completely undetectable skill buff that no spectator can perceive. The surge in actual combat power it grants could be far greater than we can even fathom. How could Lin Rushue let a beast tamer this powerful slip away? Is she genuinely foolish, or just pretending to be? Zhao Chun said nothing in reply. He sat back down and sank into deep thought. A question soon surfaced in his mind. Still, this doesn't add up. His talent is clearly monstrous, strong enough to land cross-tier instant kills just by supporting an F-rank bloodline beast. If he wanted a new contract partner, he could easily pick any B-rank or C-rank spirit beast without even trying. Never mind Lin Rushue. Why go out of his way to bond with Mu Qinxi, an F-rank beast with such a pitiful growth ceiling? Li Lei froze. He had not considered that angle at all. He tilted his head and pondered for a few seconds before offering a half-baked theory even he barely believed. I think it's because Mu Qinxi is beautiful. The office fell dead silent for more than 10 seconds. Confusion turned to helplessness on Zhao Chen's face. He raised a hand to rub his temples. Foolish boy, to stake his entire future on an F-rank bloodline just because she's pretty. Li Lei, find time to talk to Su Yang. This child's talent is our school's biggest discovery this year. We cannot let infatuation ruin his prospects. Li Lei nodded hastily. I'll speak with him tonight. Meanwhile, word of everything that had unfolded in the first trial zone was spreading like wildfire across every corner of Linhai University. Holy hell! Someone killed the trial zone overlord, the elite-tier rock mole. Who did it? Lin Rushue? I saw her head into Ghost Maple Forest with Wang Haoyan from the sophomore class this morning. It wasn't Lin Rushue. It was Su Yang and Mu Qinxi. Say that again, who? Su Yang. Mu Qinxi. The F-rank black-scaled snake, Mu Qinxi. You're messing with me, right? An F-rank bloodline slaying an elite overlord? Did you drink tainted liquor? Or did I? I saw it with my own eyes. The snake stretched 5 meters long, slipped out from the shadows, and bit the rock mole dead in one go. The whole thing took less than 5 seconds. 5 seconds. The mole barely struggled before it went cold. Wait a second. So Lin Rushua didn't land the kill? Where is she then? Lin Rushua? Ha ha ha. Guess what I watched her doing? She was sprinting for her life from a mere Tier 1 Stage 5 Shadow Horned Ox. Wang Haotian got slammed flying, coughing up blood, nearly dying on the spot. He's still laid up in the infirmary. What? Didn't Lin Rushua solo a Tier 2 Stage 5 Iron Spine bear last month? How can she not handle a lowly Tier 1 minion beast now? You don't get it. Back when she one-shot the bear, Su Yang was her tamer. Now she's paired with Wang Haotian, and suddenly she's utterly useless. Think about it. Really think. Whoa. So all those earlier instant kills were Su Yang's talent all along? Lin Rushua was just dead weight. Figures, buffers stay consistent, damage dealers come and go. Lin Rushua really lost her mind dumping him. The rumor snowballed, spreading wider by the minute. It raced from freshmen to sophomores, then juniors and seniors, from dorm group chats to cafeteria chats, then to every club's messaging thread. Every time the story passed through another person's mouth, new exaggerated details were woven in. By evening, the tale had morphed entirely. Su Yang and his F-rank spirit beast had swept the entire first trial zone, and even scared off all the monsters in the second trial zone for good measure. All the unattached spirit beasts that had hesitated to seek a contract with Su Yang earlier were drowning in regret. Inside the female dormitory, a girl with a ponytail and D-rank bloodline slammed her phone onto her bed. I wanted to go ask Su Yang for a contract. You all told me his talent was useless and talked me out of it. Now some F-rank beat me to him. Don't even start. You're AD rank and you're heartbroken? I'm C rank. I'm ready to collapse. He'd accept an F rank. He definitely would have taken me. Why did I believe those stupid rumors? What's the point of complaining now? They're already living together. Word is Mu Chinsi didn't even return to her dorm last night. She stayed over at Su Yang's place. No way. Could they have signed a life bond contract? It's possible. That scheming Mu Chinsi knew exactly what she was doing. She must have seduced him. Su Yang just split with Lin Rushua, so she slipped right in while he was vulnerable. At 2:30 in the afternoon, Su Yang and Mu Chinsi returned to his dorm after leaving the trial zone. The second the door clicked shut, the tight restraint Mu Chinsi had held all day crumbled, and a huge grin stretched across her face. This felt incredible. For more than half a year since awakening her bloodline, she had never felt this proud and triumphant. Before, people would point and whisper as she walked past, forcing her to stare at her feet and pretend not to hear. Today, every person who'd once mocked her stared wide-eyed, speechless, their stunned expressions more beautiful than any monster crystal core. Who could have imagined that she, the worthless bottom-tier F-rank beast, would see such a day? Su Yang stretched lazily. Rest for a bit. I'm going to take a shower. By the way, you could head back to your dorm to grab your clothes and daily supplies while I'm gone. Running back and forth every day is a waste of time. Mu Chinsi nodded eagerly. Okay. Su Yang turned and stepped into the bathroom, closing the door behind him. A minute later, the sound of running water echoed out. Mu Chinsi sat on the edge of the bed, swinging her legs as a bold thought took root in her mind. Go back to my dorm for clothes? There's no way I'm wasting this perfect chance. She stood, tiptoed over to the bathroom door, wrapped her hand around the handle, pushed it open, and slipped inside. Brother Su Yang, let me scrub your back for you. A soft, surprised yet entirely welcoming chuckle drifted out from the shower. Their bath stretched on for a full hour before they finished. No wonder people say boys and girls shouldn't shower together. Su Yang draped a towel over a chair and laughed. We wasted so much water. Mu Chinsi blushed and gave him a light swat. I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you properly tonight. They had no special plans for the rest of the afternoon. Su Yang accompanied Mu Chinsi back to her old dorm to move her clothes and daily necessities over to his room. Countless students stared as they walked, all eyes locked on the pair. But the whispers this time were nothing like the sneers of before. Look, it's Su Yang and Mu Chinsi. Are they moving her luggage in? They're cohabitating already. Where are all the people who called Su Yang a loser? Come out and say it now. He one-shot an elite overlord with an F-rank beast. Let's see you pull that off. I'm green with envy. If I'd known his talent was this overpowered, I would have rushed to him the second Lin Rushua had dumped him. It's too late now. They're living together, and they've probably signed a life bond contract too. A life bond contract? With an F rank? That's a commitment for an entire lifetime. Mu Chinsi hit the jackpot, and we lost our chance. Quit talking. I'm kicking myself so hard for missing this opportunity. Many girls followed Su Yang's retreating figure with complex, longing gazes. But when they spotted Mu Qinxi clinging tightly to his arm, practically hanging off his body as they walked, all their unspoken hopes died in their throats. Everyone realized now, hidden talents were never weak to begin with. Who was the fool that spread rumors Su Yang's power was worthless? Back in the dorm, Su Yang pulled 2 monster crystal cores from his pocket and handed them to Mu Qinxi. Use these to cultivate. You fought all morning. You should be able to refine both completely. Got it. Mu Qinxi wasted no time. She sat cross-legged on the bed and cupped the 2 crystals in her palms. Monster crystal cores were the most fundamental cultivation resource, brimming with condensed spiritual essence, but the energy could not be absorbed directly. To refine the power within a crystal, cultivators had to battle monsters first, coating themselves in the demonic aura the beasts exuded. Only with this demonic aura could a cultivator resonate with the crystal core and draw its energy into their own body. Beyond monster crystals, rare heaven and earth treasures existed that could boost levels instantly, yet they followed the same rule. Cultivators had to slay monsters and absorb demonic aura beforehand to unlock their effects. In this world, strength could not simply be bought with wealth. Even wealthy heirs born into luxury were forced to fight monsters to raise their ranks. Of course, rich students held a massive head start. Unlimited cultivation resources, high-tier beast tamers to guard them during expeditions, and top-tier medical teams on standby for any injury. But these wealthy youths rarely attended standard universities. They trained in exclusive military academies, starting at a height ordinary people could never hope to reach in a lifetime. Ordinary schools like Linhai University mostly enrolled orphans and students from working-class families. The school provided full welfare support up until the first semester final exam. Anyone who failed the exam was expelled without exception. Expelled students were herded to the old city district to work as laborers and breeding stock. The average lifespan of ordinary people there did not exceed 40 years. Worse fates awaited beautiful young women bought by wealthy men as playthings. Some did not even live 2 or 3 years. That was why Mu Qinxi had mustered up the courage to knock on Su Yang's door, even when everyone claimed his talent was useless. Expulsion would sentence her to an endless nightmare. She had nothing to lose by taking a gamble, and now, her gamble had paid off. Mu Qinxi closed her eyes, cradling the first crystal core between her hands, and slowly channeled the spiritual energy inside her body. Her spiritual power resonated with the crystal's energy, drawing out thin strands of black-purple power that flowed through every meridian across her frame. Boom! A shockwave burst out from her body, and her rank broke straight through to Tier 1 Stage 5. Minutes later, the first crystal core's energy was fully drained, crumbling into fine dust. A few more minutes passed, and the second core shattered in her palms as well. She had successfully advanced to Tier 1 Stage 6. Puff! Mu Qinxi exhaled heavily. Thank you, Brother Su Yang, for giving me these crystal cores. Su Yang reached out and ruffled her hair. What are you on about? You're my contracted beast. Who else would I give them to? Mu Qinxi lifted her head to gaze at him, lips pressed gently together, eyes soft and affectionate. She seemed to be holding back words, or something far more intimate. She made up her mind to show her gratitude with actions. Ding dong. The doorbell suddenly rang. Mu Qinxi froze mid-motion, halfway to throwing herself into Su Yang's arms, stuck in an awkward suspended pose. Her tender expression instantly soured into irritation. Who had the terrible timing to knock at this hour? I'll get it. She smoothed her clothes and walked to the door, pulling it open. A middle-aged man with black-framed glasses stood outside, dressed in a neat formal teacher's uniform, holding a folder. Li Lei, Tier 6 Stage 10 Beast Tamer and Sophomore Class Advisor. What was he doing here so late? Student Su Yang, do you have a moment? I do. What's the matter? Su Yang stood and walked over to the doorway. May I speak with you privately? Li Lei's gaze flicked between Su Yang and Mu Qinxi, his implication clear as day. Mu Qinxi's heart sank, a bad premonition bubbling up inside her. Su Yang did not refuse and agreed to talk. Shortly after, Su Yang followed Li Lei to his office. Mu Qinxi trailed after them, but did not step inside. She leaned against the hallway wall outside the door. Inside the office, Li Lei cut straight to the point. He pulled open a desk drawer, took out 3 personal profile sheets, and laid them side by side on the table. Su Yang, take a look. Any of these girls catch your eye? Su Yang narrowed his eyes and picked up the forms, scanning them one after another. All 3 possessed a rank bloodlines and pleasant features. While they could not compare to Mu Qinxi's charm, they would have had no shortage of suitors in his old world. What's this about? Su Yang set the sheets down and looked up at Li Lei. These three girls all awakened their powers this year. They're freshmen. Lilei folded his arms atop the desk and explained warmly. Linhai Beast Tamer Academy has very few students with outstanding awakened talents this year. All three of them are deeply dissatisfied with their current contract partners and are looking to switch bonds. Suyang, I now understand your talent clearly. It is nothing like the useless power everyone rumored it to be. In fact, yours may be the most severely underestimated hidden talent I've seen in 20 years of teaching. I won't deny Mu Chenxi is beautiful, but she only has an F-rank bloodline with a rigid upper growth limit. Meanwhile Suyang lifted a hand to cut him off before he could finish. Teacher Li, there's no need to try persuading me to terminate my contract with Mu Chenxi. I will never break our bond. Lilei had clearly anticipated this response and showed little surprise, only letting out a long sigh. You have to think about your own future. All three of these girls come from well-off families. If you're willing, I can negotiate with the neighboring academy. Teacher Li, Suyang interrupted him once more. Mu Chenxi and I have already signed a life bond contract. There's no more to discuss. Lilei nearly spat out the tea in his mouth. What on earth? A life bond contract with an F-rank bloodline? This had to be a joke. Had he really let his lust cloud his judgment? Just what were you thinking? Even if Mu Chenxi is stunning and you let your emotions get the better of you, signing a lifelong life bond contract is far too extreme. You could have asked her to satisfy your needs in other ways instead of tying your entire future to her. Ugh, he trailed off, unable to find more words to express his disbelief, waving his hand with a face full of helpless exasperation. But what's done is done. It's too late to take back any words. Soulbound contracts cannot be broken. It is an unalterable law of this world, beyond the power of any person to change. Sir, if I may correct you. Suyang straightened his back and stared straight into Lilei's eyes. Please do not speak of Chenxi that way. Her natural talent far surpasses all these other people. Lilei froze for a split second, instinctively ready to retort, yet the words died on his tongue. It suddenly dawned on him how harsh his earlier remark had been. Suyang and Mu Chenxi had only just formed their soulbound contract. They were essentially like a pair of head-over-heels lovers. To badmouth his contracted spirit right to his face was no different from telling a man his wife was worthless and urging him to replace her at once. If he were not the teacher, Suyang would have likely struck him already. I understand. Lilei fell silent for several seconds before nodding slowly. I will not bring this up again. To make amends for my careless words, I have a proposal. Our sophomore cohort has a training camp tomorrow. Would you like to join? Suyang's eyes lit up the instant he heard this. This training camp was nothing like the casual, safe practice grounds within the trial zone, where students merely beat wooden dummies for trivial drills. They would be venturing fully outside the city into genuine, untamed wilderness. The wilderness beyond the walls boasted far denser monster populations, greater hazards, and far more intense combat. Nothing within the campus trial zone could compare. The trial zone was a greenhouse. The land outside the city was a true battlefield, entirely different tiers of difficulty. How could such a golden opportunity fall into his lap? There was no way he would pass it up. Still, Suyang asked a follow-up question. This is a sophomore training camp. Will there be any issue with a freshman like me joining? No trouble at all. Lilei waved a hand dismissively. The roster was finalized already, but Wang Haotian was injured in the first trial zone today, leaving one vacant spot. I witnessed your strength firsthand today. You are more than a match for any sophomore student. Gaining field experience outside the city will do you good. Besides, all sophomore training expeditions are led by instructors of rank 6 or higher, so you need not worry about safety. Suyang nodded. It's settled then. Lilei nodded in response. Come to my office at 9 tomorrow morning, and I will take you there. When Suyang pushed open the office door and stepped out, Mu Chenxi was leaning against the corridor wall, shifting her weight restlessly from foot to foot. The moment she saw him emerge, she hurried forward to question him. Brother Suyang, what did Teacher Li want to talk to you about? Did he try to persuade you to switch your contracted partner? She was far from stupid. For their teacher to seek them out late at night for a private conversation, putting it together with her own situation, she could guess the core topic with near-perfect accuracy. The faculty at Linhai University would never stand by and watch a beastmaster with an immensely promising hidden talent bind themselves to an F-rank spirit beast. They would undoubtedly try every means to convince Suyang to pick a different partner. Suyang smiled and ruffled her hair gently. Relax, it's nothing bad at all. Teacher Li said the sophomores have a training camp tomorrow. Wang Haotian got hurt, so there's an extra spot open, and he asked if I wanted to come. Fighting outside the city is leagues better than those petty skirmishes in the trial zone. Mu Chenxi blinked. A sophomore training camp? Can I come with you? Suyang nodded. You're my only contracted partner. Who else would I bring? Honestly, a faint pink blush spread across Mu Chinsi's cheeks at his words. When she thought about it, he was absolutely right. Midnight, just past 12 o'clock. Su Yang held the warm figure curled against his chest, half asleep, his mind still replaying the 5 rounds of intimate bonding they'd shared. From the bathroom to the bed, from the bed to the writing desk by the window, then tumbling back onto the mattress once more. Eventually, Mu Chinsi could endure no more. Her eyelids drooped shut, and she sank into a deep slumber. Su Yang let out a yawn, worn out as well. Just then, the system's notification tone chimed. Ding! Daily quests have been refreshed. Complete any one of the 3 quests below to earn 1 guaranteed critical sign enroll. Quest 1. Complete 5 rounds of intimacy cultivation with your contracted partner. Quest 2. Slay 20 monsters of equal or higher rank than the host. Quest 3. Form a contract with a brand new spirit beast. All traces of drowsiness vanished in an instant. He stared at the glowing golden quest panel, then glanced down at Mu Chinsi fast asleep atop his chest, only 2 words swirling through his mind. Damn it. I've lost out big time. I should have waited until after midnight to cultivate our intimacy. Chinsi's dead to the world now. There's no way we can finish the 5th round until tomorrow morning. Wait, we leave for the training camp first thing tomorrow. Where will we find the time to bond then? We have to set off at dawn. Am I supposed to wake her up right now? Forget it, sigh. Su Yang breathed a silent, heavy sigh. He was no paragon of virtue, but he had no desire to act intimately with Mu Chinsi while she slept soundly. Yet this frustration gnawed at him terribly. It was akin to saving 99 gacha pulls, 1 short of the pity guarantee for a top-tier prize, only to rummage through your inventory and find not a single remaining ticket left. It was utterly maddening. Soon enough, Su Yang's gaze fell on the 3rd quest. Quest 3. Form a contract with a brand new spirit beast. He stared at the line, his brows slowly furrowing. Does this system not understand the fundamental rules of this world? In this Beastmaster realm, the contract forged between Beastmaster and Spirit Beast is a profound, energy-level bond. Every additional Spirit Beast a Beastmaster contracts branches a new channel within their spiritual energy veins, a channel that constantly siphons their own spiritual power to sustain the contract. With 1 contracted Spirit Beast, your cultivation and leveling speed remain at the standard baseline. Contract a second, however, and your spiritual veins split into 2 parallel, conflicting channels that tug and interfere with one another. Your cultivation efficiency drops to 1/4 of the baseline, consuming 4 times as much energy to progress. In other words, hunting identical monsters and absorbing identical crystal cores will make you level up 4 times slower. Contract a 3rd beast, and the cost multiplies 9-fold. A 4th raises it 16-fold, and so on, scaling exponentially with the square of your contracted count. Leveling up in this world already demands personally hunting monsters and refining their crystal cores, a grueling process on its own. To voluntarily multiply that burden exponentially was sheer self-sabotage. Of course, peerless prodigies from powerful factions would occasionally contract 2 or even 3 spirit beasts, but they stood at the absolute peak of resources. They had dedicated hunting squads capturing beasts for them from childhood, mountains of crystal cores to burn, and rare heavenly spiritual treasures consumed like daily meals. For an ordinary student to attempt this path was nothing short of ruining their own future prospects. Never mind dwelling on it for now. If I ever cross paths with another spirit beast maiden capable of awakening a god-tier atavistic bloodline, then I'll reconsider. Even if I were to take on a second contract, I can't just bind myself to some random low-grade trash beast. That would mean I've completely lost my mind. Su Yang closed his eyes, breathing in the faint sweet scent emanating from Mu Chinsi, and his consciousness slowly faded into darkness. The next morning, Su Yang was roused by the aroma of fried eggs and bacon. Sure enough, Mu Chinsi stood at the stove wearing only that thin white apron once more. They needed to leave early for the training camp, though who was he kidding? What red-blooded man could witness such a sight and hold back? Su Yang certainly could not. He slipped on his slippers and headed straight for the kitchen. Mu Chinsi had anticipated this all along and acted fast, cutting the stove flame the moment he stepped through the doorway. Ding! Intimacy threshold met. Congratulations to contracted partner Mu Chinsi for unlocking the new skill, Shadow Pupils. 1 shot, 1 unlock. She'd learned a brand new skill just like that? Truly, their morning bonding had brought a wonderful surprise. Mu Chinsi looked equally stunned. Brother Su Yang, what is this? Su Yang smiled. It seems our compatibility is exceptionally high. Remember? Pairs bound by a soul contract have an extremely rare chance of unlocking new skills or upgrading existing ones while cultivating intimacy. Muchensi nodded. I know that well enough. I just never imagined it would happen so quickly. I've heard the odds are infinitesimally low. Suyang gave her soft rear a light pat. Enough overthinking for now. Hurry and finish cooking, or we'll be late. I'll get right to it. Watching her newly unlocked skill, a playful idea suddenly crossed Su Yang's mind. His hidden talent, flawless execution, allows all his skills to activate at their absolute optimal state, drastically boosting hit rates while slashing the target's evasion chance. If that held true for shadow pupils, would this gaze-based ability become an unmissable guaranteed hit? He resolved to test it at the earliest opportunity. 20 minutes later, the pair arrived at the sophomore assembly point. Judging by the clock and the crowd gathered, they had not arrived late. 8 coaches lined up neatly across the plaza before Linhai University's second teaching building. Hundreds of students milled about the square, almost all paired off one Beastmaster and one Spirit Beast partner. The instant Su Yang and Mu Qinxi stepped into view, every head in the crowd swiveled their way. Look, Su Yang's here. Holy hell, he actually came. I thought the group chat message was just someone making up a joke. Can you believe a freshman's joining our sophomore training camp? He one-shot an elite overlord monster in the first trial zone yesterday. Regardless of anything else, his combat prowess absolutely qualifies him for this camp. What I can't wrap my head around is this. With such an overpowered hidden talent, why would he pick an F-rank bloodline beast to contract? Wouldn't a B or a rank partner be far superior? Honestly, it's such a waste of his gift. He can already excel with an F rank. Imagine how unstoppable he'd be with an A rank at his side. Who was spreading that rumor claiming Su Yang's talent was worthless? I almost bought into it back then. If I'd known how monstrous his ability truly is, I would have been the first to rush up to him the second he got abandoned. Save it. You're a guy? What would you even rush over for? Murmurs buzzed nonstop around them. While the students were undoubtedly shocked, few truly regarded Su Yang as an equal threat. The average sophomore student stood at rank 2, with the top performers reaching rank 2 stage 7 or 8. And 2 even touching the threshold of rank 3. Su Yang himself was only rank 2 stage 1, and his contracted partner merely rank 1 stage 6. Such a stark rank disparity could not be erased by 1 or 2 standout performances. No matter how flashy one's talent might be, absolute, overwhelming strength would always command deference. At that moment, Lilei emerged leading the class instructors. Time's up. We won't wait for anyone who hasn't arrived yet. Each class will board the coach assigned to your homeroom teacher. Su Yang, you're assigned to Class 1. Come with me. At his command, the students filed toward their respective buses. Su Yang and Mu Qinxi fell in at the rear of the Class 1 line and boarded Coach 2, claiming a double window seat in the back row. Mu Qinxi pressed her forehead against the glass, her eyes sparkling with pure anticipation. In all her life, she had never once stepped outside the city walls. The coaches ignited their engines, and the convoy slowly rolled out through Linhai University's main gate, traveling north along the main thoroughfare. Su Yang had pictured the wilderness beyond the city as a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Crumbling ruins, scorched barren earth, scattered skeletons strewn across the ground. To his complete surprise, the landscape beyond the walls was vivid, lush, and breathtakingly scenic. It's so beautiful. Mu Qinxi pressed nearly her entire face against the window, her amber irises reflecting the green mountains and clear streams flashing past, radiating unbridled excitement. Su Yang gently stroked the top of her head, saying nothing more. If the chance ever arose, he planned to take her to explore every corner of this vast world. The convoy traveled along winding mountain roads for roughly an hour. With rank 6 instructors accompanying the group, no monsters dared draw near their path, making the journey far smoother than Su Yang had anticipated. Eventually, the vehicles came to a halt in an open clearing nestled within the forested hills. A vast flat expanse had been cleared close to a sheer cliff face, bearing fresh marks of tree felling and ground leveling, clearly a pre-prepared training camp grounds. 4 temporary watchtowers stood erected around the perimeter, each topped by a sentry in camouflage uniform, and hundreds of small tents lined the open space. All passengers disembark and gather at the center of the camp. Lilei shouted through a megaphone. The sophomore students filed off the coaches and converged toward the camp center under their homeroom teacher's guidance. Once everyone had lined up on the central clearing, a burly, dark-skinned man strode out from the largest central tent. Welcome to this training camp. I am Wang Tianfang, head instructor for this expedition. You may all call me Old Wang. This is my wife Su Mei, our assistant instructor. Over the next 7 days, the two of us will oversee all your wilderness survival and combat training. Suyang had already familiarized himself with Linhai University's education system via the student handbook. Freshmen explored the controlled trial zones alone, with safety prioritized above all else, learning basic combat fundamentals to avoid instant death in battle. Sophomores would venture outside the city escorted by veteran instructors for authentic field combat training, learning to adapt to real monster ecosystems and master wilderness survival skills. Juniors were required to independently accept bounty quests from the Beastmaster Association, hunt monsters outside the city unescorted, and accumulate combat experience plus association contribution points. By senior year, students were formally drafted into military divisions to serve as frontline fighters defending against monster incursions. For all their cocky strutting and arrogance on campus, the vast majority of these sophomores were complete novices stepping beyond the city walls for the very first time. No matter how vibrant a flower raised in a greenhouse might appear, there was no telling if it could withstand the brutal storms of the wild. A hardened veteran like Wang Tianfeng, whose every muscle radiated murderous battle aura, cast an invisible weight of oppression over these sheltered students simply by standing before them. Many dropped their gazes and avoided eye contact when his hawk-like eyes swept over the crowd. Two individuals stood apart from the rest. Suyang was running system scans over the female sophomore students, searching for any maidens bearing atavistic bloodlines. Mu Chenxi, meanwhile, was simply overflowing with exhilaration. Only yesterday, she had been written off as a worthless F-rank spirit beast too timid to even enter the trial zone. And today she stood within a wilderness training camp outside the city, beside the student universally recognized as a hidden genius powerhouse of the entire school. This was pure bliss. Wang Tianfeng's gaze swept the crowd, lingering briefly on Suyang and Mu Chenxi, a faint glint of amusement flickering in his eyes. These two must be the freshman transfers Teacher Lee mentioned. One rank 2 stage 1, one rank 1 stage 6, yet they stand unfazed amid a crowd of sophomores. Interesting. Only time will tell if they are merely reckless calves unafraid of tigers, or truly possess genuine skill. When Li Lei had called ahead requesting to bring 2 freshmen along, Wang Tianfeng had nearly slammed the phone down in outrage. This training camp was no spring outing. What sense did it make dragging 2 inexperienced freshmen along as dead weight? But after Li Lei sent over the surveillance footage from the first trial zone, Wang Tianfeng watched it 3 times straight, then sent a 4-word reply: bring them over. He had overseen more than a dozen training cohorts and seen countless so-called geniuses, yet Suyang and Mu Chenxi were the first pair to leave him eager to rewatch their footage repeatedly. Wang Tianfeng pulled his gaze away and clapped his hands twice to recapture everyone's full attention. Enough chattering. Form up in full assembly. Roll call begins now. Chenyi, a young man, immediately stepped forward from the Class 1 group. Present. Did you skip breakfast? Speak louder. Present. That's better. Next, Wu Qiao. Present. Suyang finished reviewing the stat panels of the surrounding spirit beasts and let out a quiet internal sigh. Spirit beasts like Mu Chenxi, capable of unlocking a god-tier atavistic bloodline path, were as rare as finding a single needle in an ocean of hay. He'd been unbelievably lucky to cross paths with her the day she sought him out. Tracking down a second maiden with an atavistic bloodline would likely prove far more difficult. Roll call concluded soon after. Each homeroom teacher led their class to their assigned tent districts. Class 1's tents occupied the eastern side of the camp, pressed up against the cliffside on slightly elevated ground with an unobstructed view of mist swirling through the distant mountain valleys. Tents were built to house pairs. One beastmaster and their contracted partner sharing a single shelter, standard practice for all training expeditions. After all, they fought as a unified team, so separating accommodations served no purpose, though sound insulation was practically non-existent. Li Lei, Class 1's homeroom teacher, stood at the front of the tent zone, megaphone in one hand and roll sheet in the other, herding his students to gather around. Quiet down, everyone. I will be your supervising instructor for the next 7 days. Come find me at any time, whether you have troubles with daily life or difficulties during training. Official practical combat lessons won't start until this afternoon, when Instructor Wang will deliver a unified briefing covering core wilderness combat and survival rules plus critical safety precautions. Before that, we need to elect a class monitor. The instant he finished speaking, multiple hands shot into the air. Sir, I'll take the position. I ranked top 3 in practical combat last semester, and I'm fully qualified for the role. But top 3 is nothing to boast about. Sir, nominate me. My contracted partner is a frost-plumed falcon unmatched mobility, perfect for coordinating and organizing the class. Being class monitor isn't just about combat power, leadership skills count too, alright? I spent a full year on the student union last semester and organized 3 school-wide events. I've got loads of experience in this area. Raw fighting strength is what really matters. If you disagree, let's settle it with a spar first. I'm not fighting you. Monitors get elected, not won through brawls. The 7 or 8 students who'd raised their hands bickered back and forth, glowering at one another. Suyang stood at the back of the crowd, hands stuffed in his pockets, his face screaming none of my business. He had zero interest in becoming monitor. He'd never even been a group leader growing up, let alone manage over 20 sophomore upperclassmen and women. His only goal for this training camp was simple: get out of the city, let Mu Chinsi absorb more demonic energy, and level her up as fast as possible. The position of monitor held no appeal for him whatsoever. Li Lei's gaze swept twice across the students with their hands raised, then drifted past the crowd to land on Su Yang, a knowing smile tugging at his lips. He'd seen Su Yang's real combat skills crystal clear on the surveillance footage yesterday. They were every bit as good as these sophomores. When it came to raw power, this freshman boy was probably stronger than most upperclassmen present. He wanted to see exactly what Su Yang was capable of when facing seniors with higher cultivation tiers than him. Su Yang, would you be interested in taking on the role of class monitor? The moment the words left his mouth, the noisy sophomores fell silent as one. Every pair of eyes locked onto Su Yang at the exact same time. Put a freshman in charge as monitor? There were over 20 full sophomores here, each several minor tiers above Su Yang on average. What was the teacher implying? Did he think all 20-something upperclassmen were inferior to a single freshman? Su Yang's brows furrowed. He shot Li Lei a glance, instantly reading the old fox's scheming intent beneath that meaningful grin. Can I turn it down? Of course you can. But the monitor gets extra rewards: 1 second-rank monster core and 10 first-rank monster cores. Are you sure you want to pass that up? At that, Su Yang spread his hands. It's not really the rewards I care about. Honestly, I just don't think anyone else here is cut out to be monitor besides me. A roar of shock erupted through the crowd. A student with a buzz cut pushed straight through the throng and stepped forward. This was Lu Lin, a 7th-stage second-rank beast tamer. On paper, the strongest tamer in Class 1. Let our fighting speak for itself. Whoever wins becomes monitor. Dare you accept? No sooner had he finished speaking than the surrounding students stirred into an excited buzz, all eager to watch the spectacle. A freshman challenging a sophomore? This drama was too good to miss. Lu Lin, don't embarrass yourself and lose. Su Yang, you were insane yesterday. Don't chicken out now. Fight, fight, fight. I'll call whoever wins my big brother. Watching the scene unfold, Li Lei's smile widened further. Everything was unfolding exactly according to his plan. He lifted his megaphone to stoke the flames. Listen up, since none of you can agree, settle this with a match. Anyone else who thinks they've got what it takes to be monitor can step up and challenge too. Victory is decided by combat. Whoever stands unbeatable at the end is Class 1's monitor. Fair and square. Any objections? None, the students shouted in unison. The challenge rules applied to everyone, but they all knew the real fight boiled down to one thing. They needed to teach this clueless freshman a lesson about what true strength looked like. Mu Chinsi stood beside Su Yang, her fingers unconsciously tightening around the sleeve of his shirt. Brother Su Yang, why'd you say that? Su Yang smiled. I'll explain later. Get ready to fight first. What, are you scared? At those words, Mu Chinsi's fighting spirit blazed bright. Not a chance. Yesterday, I would have been intimidated, but today, I could take on 10 of them. You don't need to fight 10. Beating 1 or 2 should be enough. The match was set on the open clearing at the camp center. Lu Lin strode to the middle of the space, turning to face Su Yang and Mu Chinsi with a self-assured smirk. Shinner, teach them a proper lesson. Let these 2 freshmen learn just how massive the gap between first and second rank truly is. Got it, Brother Lu. The girl beside him stepped forward. Fang Xian, Lu Lin's contracted beast partner, stood a little over 1.6 meters tall. Her features weren't exquisite, but she had an adorably soft, youthful look. 7th-stage second rank with a B-class bloodline, Azure Sky Eagle. Paired with Lu Lin, they were unanimously recognized as Class 1's strongest team. Lu Lin raised his right palm, a pale gray glow flickering to life within it, and pressed it firmly against Fang Xian's back. Screech. A piercing eagle cry echoed across the entire camp. A cocoon of light burst open, and a gray eagle with a wingspan over 3 meters soared skyward, whipping up a gust of wind with a single beat of its wings. It circled half a loop above the camp before hovering several meters off the ground. Its golden eagle eyes stared down at Mu Chinsi from on high, radiating a clear air of provocation. Lu Lin's going all out, isn't he? Sending an azure sky eagle against a black-scale serpent. He planned this from the start. Exactly. The black-scale serpent's purely melee, while the eagle flies high up. That serpent's just a sitting target. Though honestly, Su Yang was incredible yesterday. He took down an elite overlord beast with just an F-class partner. He's definitely hiding some trump card. No matter how amazing Su Yang's talent is, can he make a snake grow wings? Enough chatter, it's starting. Su Yang nodded at Mu Chinsi, lifting his own right hand to channel beast tamer energy into her. Mu Chinsi's body shimmered with light, instantly transforming into a colossal black serpent coiled across the clearing. It reared its massive head slowly, its amber vertical pupils locking steadily onto the circling azure sky eagle overhead. The onlookers fell dead silent for 3 full seconds. Then chaos erupted. Wait, what in the world is that thing? Hold on. I thought it was just an F-class bloodline black-scale serpent? Black-scale serpents don't look anything like this. Black-scale serpent, my foot. Have you ever seen one this huge, wrapped in swirling shadow mist? This isn't a black-scale serpent at all. Did it evolve? Is Su Yang loaded enough for an evolution stone? Even evolved ones don't look like this. Just look at its size. The azure sky eagle might get swallowed whole in one bite. Up in the air, the circling azure sky eagle froze noticeably. What is that? I was told it's only an F-class bloodline. The confident smile on Lu Lin's face stiffened completely. It felt like he'd grabbed a kitchen knife ready to slaughter a chicken, only to open the door and find a Tyrannosaurus Rex squatting inside. Still, he was a top sophomore student. After a split second of shock, he quickly regained his composure. Flying types hold the advantage over ground types. No matter how big the snake is, it can't take flight. If he keeps his distance and wears it down with long-range attacks, victory is guaranteed. Shinner, pull back and gain altitude fast. Understood. Fang Xian's wings slammed hard, rocketing her skyward over 30 meters in just 2 seconds. She planned to circle high above, charge up power, then dive down paired with wind blade strikes to slowly pick off the grounded serpent below. On the ground, Mu Chinsi coiled her enormous frame unhurriedly. Then her vertical pupils narrowed sharply. Shadow gaze. ZZZZT. The azure sky eagle's body stiffened midair. In that instant, an invisible hand seemed to clamp down on its consciousness, cutting off all perception of the outside world entirely. It went limp like a robot whose power cord had been pulled, its golden eyes dimming instantly as it plummeted straight down from over 30 meters up. Shinner, Lu Lin shouted instinctively, only to clamp his mouth shut the second Mu Chinsi's gaze swept toward him. The serpent's coiled body shot forward in a flash, positioning itself directly beneath the falling eagle a split second before impact. It opened its jaws and caught the azure sky eagle gently in its mouth. It didn't sink its fangs in, but everyone watching had no doubt. If the giant serpent wanted to, one bite would snap the eagle's neck clean in two like a crispy wafer stick. Dead silence blanketed the entire clearing. Up until this moment, most of these sophomores had only thought Su Yang and Mu Chinsi had a little bit of potential, nothing extraordinary. Word had spread about them slaying a pine rock rat yesterday, but that was merely a first-rank monster. Plenty of them could pull that off too. This scene was a completely different story. Lu Lin and Fang Xian were Class 1's elite combat duo, ranking among the top 5 strongest teams in the entire sophomore year. And their partnership had lost in a single exchange? This had to be a joke. The match is decided. Li Lei's voice cut through the camp's heavy silence at just the right moment. He'd seen his share of fights where a weaker tier overwhelmed a stronger one, but never one this clean, decisive, and utterly effortless. Was Mu Chinsi really only an F-class bloodline beast? Or did Su Yang possess some secret art that could elevate a beast's bloodline grade? No way. That was way too fast. Did the whole fight even last 5 seconds? Lu Lin just lost like that. Did anyone catch that gaze skill? One stare, and Fang Xian crashed straight out of the sky. What ability was that? I was standing close by, and even from over 10 meters away, I felt a cold chill crawl up my spine. Taking that gaze head-on would knock me unconscious instantly. It's terrifying. Is Su Yang's overpowered talent the reason? Or is Mu Chinsi just that monstrous? F-class my rear end. You ever seen an F-class spirit beast turn into a 5-meter-long black giant serpent? That's clearly a hidden high-tier bloodline. No wonder Su Yang was so confident earlier. I'd be cocky too with power like that. Su Yang turned to face the murmuring sophomores of Class 1. hands still tucked in his pockets, his posture relaxed and his expression calm. His gaze swept slowly left to right, then right to left across the crowd before he spoke in a flat, cool tone. Anyone else? The noisy crowd fell silent at once. A bizarre scene unfolded right after. Every single person simultaneously avoided Su Yang's eyes. Some stared down at their own toes, some craned their necks to gaze at the sky. Others spun around pretending to chat with the people beside them, and a few even pulled out their phones to fake replying to messages. You go? Didn't you just say you could beat Su Yang single-handedly? Now's your chance, hurry up. Bullshit. That was you talking. You said Su Yang's just a support and useless in close combat. I never said a word like that. A bunch of you raised your hands to be monitor earlier. Why don't you step up now? Don't just wave your hands and do nothing. I want to be monitor, not throw my life away. Didn't you see what happened to Lu Lin? The crowd jostled one another, passing the buck back and forth, creating an awkward standoff. Let's be real. If a 7th-stage second-rank pair like Lu Lin and Fang Xian got one shot, challenging Su Yang would just be walking in to get crushed. There was nothing to gain from winning, but losing meant humiliating yourself in front of the whole class forever. How would anyone face their classmates after that? Li Lei stood at the edge of the crowd, watching the spectacle, unable to hold back his amused grin. He'd suspected Su Yang was unusual, but never imagined the boy would shock him this much. A 1st-stage second-rank tamer with a 6th-stage first-rank partner, one-shotting a 7th-stage second-rank top talent. It was almost unthinkable. He'd judged too hastily last night. That much was certain. Li Lei clapped his hands to recapture everyone's attention. Since no one else is stepping forward to challenge, our class monitor is officially decided. He scanned the crowd as he spoke. Everyone shook their heads frantically. The same students who'd argued fiercely for the position minutes earlier were all shrinking backward, desperate to blend into the crowd and disappear. Are you kidding me? Lu Lin and Fang Xian were Class 1's strongest beast tamers, and they couldn't even last 10 full seconds against Su Yang. No one had even caught whether Su Yang had activated his beast tamer talent at all by the time the eagle hit the ground. Activating a talent usually came with glowing light effects or surges of spiritual energy, right? There'd been nothing at all. That was the truly terrifying part. You had no clue what he'd done or what his talent's effects were. It wasn't worth it, absolutely not. The rewards were nice, but staying alive mattered more. Even if someone somehow beat Su Yang and became monitor, they'd spend the entire next week bogged down with trivial work managing over 20 people. Roll calls, supply distribution, coordinating with other classes, just thinking about it gave them a headache. Why bother? If they spent that time hunting monsters out in the wilderness, a lucky haul would net them far more monster cores than the monitor bonus. By this point, Mu Chenxi had shifted back into human form. She ran over excitedly and threw her arms around Su Yang, spinning him in a full 360-degree hug. Brother Su Yang, I won. Did you see it? Did you? That shadow gaze skill is insane. I just stared at her once, and she fell straight out of the sky. Hee hee, I never thought I'd actually win against someone of a higher tier. Su Yang reached up and ruffled her hair roughly. Yeah, I saw it. You were amazing, really amazing. Hee hee, but I couldn't have done it without your help, Brother Su Yang. Can I get a little reward? A small reward? No problem at all. Not just a tiny one. I'll get you a great big reward too. Mu Chenxi's cheeks flushed pink at that. Brother Su Yang, you're teasing me again. The two bantered back and forth, openly showering each other with affection as if no one else existed, sending the surrounding single student's blood pressure soaring. Did you see her blush when he mentioned rewards? That's basically a confession. Wow, Su Yang's living the dream. Mu Chenxi's beautiful and stunning. Who could resist her? Looks like the rumors might be true. They probably formed a life bond contract together. Ugh, I wish I could form a life bond with my partner too. But she keeps saying she's slow to warm up and wants to wait. All right, everyone, quiet down. Li Lei clapped his hands to cut through their gossip, grabbed the duty roster, and stepped forward a few paces. We'll assign tents now. 2 people per tent, shared between each beast tamer and their contracted partner. That's standard for this training camp, so I won't go into detail. The monitor gets first pick. Su Yang, you choose first. This was exactly what Su Yang had been waiting for. His gaze swept across the rows of tents on the camp's eastern side, quickly locking onto one tucked farthest into the corner. It was noticeably larger than the rest, made of thicker, darker canvas, pressed right up against a rocky cliff face. Natural stone barriers surrounded it on 3 sides with only one opening facing the main camp. Total privacy. I'll take that one. Su Yang pointed it out. Li Lei followed his finger, his eye twitching slightly, but jotted it down in his notebook anyway. The boy had an excellent eye. That tent was the best spare supply they had originally set aside for him and his wife. Suyang hadn't picked it for luxury, of course. When he and Mu Chinsi raised their partnership affinity at night, they'd inevitably make some noise. A tent tucked away in the corner, backed by rock on three sides, offered the best sound insulation possible. He'd thought every detail through far more carefully than anyone else. Here's your reward for being monitor. We'll be counting on you from here on out. Li Lei pulled a palm-sized velvet pouch from his supply pack and handed it to Suyang. Thanks, Teacher Li. Suyang slipped the pouch into his pocket and nodded at Li Lei. He'd planned to refine the monster cores right away, but no sooner had the tent assignments finished than Wang Tianfang's signature booming voice echoed across the camp center. Everyone gather immediately. Students who'd been unpacking in their tents scrambled out in a rush, lining up neatly on the central clearing in under 2 minutes. Wang Tianfang stood at the front of the formation, hands clasped behind his back, legs slightly apart. Good, everyone's present. 2 minutes is a little slow for frontline beast tamers, but it's acceptable for you lot. Before I kick off today's lesson, I've got a question for all of you. All of you made it to this intensive training camp, which means you've all broken through to Tier 2 or higher. Now, does anyone know how beast tamers and spirit beasts cultivate their power? As soon as he finished speaking, faint murmurs rippled through the ranks. Many students exchanged confused glances. Was this even worth asking? It was basic common sense. From primary school all the way through university, the very first theoretical lecture every single year covered this exact topic. They'd heard it so many times they could recite it in their sleep. What was Instructor Wang getting at? Was he planning to quiz them on foundational theory? Wang Tianfang watched the undisguised confusion and dismissive looks on their faces, yet he didn't grow annoyed. He simply smiled, raised a hand, and called out a name. Lin Nai, come up and tell us. The boy whose name had been called stepped forward from the formation. He had delicate, refined features and clear, luminous skin, looking far more like a male idol group member than a beast tamer who fought vicious monster beasts out in the wild. Still, no one dared underestimate him based on his appearance. Lin Nai was a Tier 3 Stage 1 beast tamer, one of only 3 sophomores to break into Tier 3, and the sole Tier 3 participant in this entire training camp. His contracted partner stood right beside him, a gentle woman with a Grade B bloodline. Standing side by side, the pair looked every bit the golden boy and perfect maiden. Lin Nai spoke in a steady, unhurried tone, reporting to the instructor. The fundamental energy that allows both beast tamers and spirit beasts to wield power and advance through stages is a special energy called spirit force. Spirit force exists sparsely in the air, but its concentration is far too low to make any meaningful difference. Reliance on absorbing airborne spirit force to break through stages is completely impractical. The primary source of spirit force comes from monster beast cores and rare heavenly treasures naturally imbued with concentrated spirit force. However, to draw spirit force out of cores and treasures, you must personally battle and slay monster beasts. The demonic mist released upon a beast's death clings to the surface of your spirit force meridians. Only while that film of demonic mist lingers can cultivators resonate with a monster beast core, drawing its spirit force out to integrate into their own bodies. Therefore, to break through and grow stronger, you need 2 things in equal measure: sufficient cultivation resources and consistent combat against monster beasts. Neither can be neglected. Wang Tianfang applauded once Lin Nai finished speaking. Well said, you covered most of the key points. Now I'll ask you a more advanced question, Lin Nai. Do you know what tier breaking means for beast tamers? Lin Nai nodded. Reporting to the instructor, tier breaking is an extremely rare, high-risk cultivation technique. Every beast tamer hits critical thresholds right before advancing. Tier 1 Stage 10, Tier 2 Stage 10, Tier 3 Stage 10, and so on. At these junctures, they may choose to attempt tier breaking. It involves forcibly suppressing your natural urge to advance to the next tier. At this critical bottleneck, you continuously amass massive volumes of spirit force, compressing and purifying it to an extreme. Once your reserves peak, you unleash all that condensed power at once to shatter the tier barrier. This entire process is known as tier breaking. The upside of success is unlocking an entirely new talent for the beast tamer. The downside, however, is devastating. Should you fail, the excess spirit force built up during the breaking process will backlash against your spirit force meridians, drastically slowing your rate of advancement for years, even decades afterward. This backlash is irreversible. No medicine or healing technique can erase it. You can only wait for time to gradually repair the damage. It's a cultivation path where immense opportunity walks hand in hand with catastrophic risk. Wang Tianfeng nodded, a look of approval crossing his face. Perfectly summed up. Well done. Thank you for your praise, instructor. Lin Nai gave a slight bow and returned to the ranks. Wang Tianfeng sighed softly and added, indeed, every chance to attempt tier breaking is a pivotal milestone for any beast tamer. Unlocking a second or even third talent grants unimaginable buffs to your contracted partner. But failure carries ruinous consequences. At your current stage, years of severely slowed progression will leave you far behind every peer your age. Few people can endure that gap. Silence fell over all the students at his words. Every head hung low, their expressions tangled with complicated emotions. Who wouldn't want to attempt tier breaking? Who wouldn't crave an extra talent? Who wouldn't strive to stand out above their peers? But they could not bear the cost of failure. Slowed advancement for years meant betting their entire future on a lottery ticket with abysmal odds. Success would be glorious, but what if they lost? Some thought they might try tier breaking much later, once they'd advanced 7 or 8 tiers, when every small stage upgrade became agonizingly difficult. By then, they could satisfy the youthful urge without risking their prime years. Right now, though, none of them possessed the courage. Just as everyone wallowed in helplessness, Wang Tianfeng abruptly shifted his tone. His stern expression flipped in an instant into a knowing, meaningful smile. Of course, that's only what you believe. There is actually a shortcut to tier breaking. You may not have use for this knowledge yet, but once you advance to higher tiers in the future, this shortcut will be invaluable to you. Every student's head shot upward, eyes wide as they stared at Wang Tianfeng. A shortcut? There was a shortcut to tier breaking? A boy wearing round wire-rimmed glasses raised his hand without hesitation. Instructor Wang, if such a shortcut exists, why was it never mentioned in high school or first-year university theory classes? Why wait until now to tell us such vital information? Excellent question. We withhold this secret because we fear immature minds will act recklessly on impulse. It's school tradition to reveal this method only during wilderness-intensive training each year. I won't keep you in suspense. The trick to tier breaking is simple. Complete the tier breaking process alongside your contracted partner. When a beast tamer and spirit beast simultaneously suppress their tier advancement at the same bottleneck, their spirit force meridians create a resonance effect. This resonance drastically boosts the success rate of tier breaking, theoretically doubling your odds. There is still a price to pay, however. If the attempt fails, your contracted partner will suffer the backlash alongside you, and both of your advancement speeds will plummet for years to come. Dead silence blanketed the entire camp after this revelation. Such a method existed? But didn't that mean dragging your contracted partner down with you? Many paired beast tamer teams exchanged glances, then guiltily looked away. Most of the pairs here were temporary matches with no emotional bond whatsoever, united solely for combat. Sacrificing years of progress for someone you barely cared about was hardly worthwhile. Many of you formed your contracts at the start of your first year and have stayed paired ever since, correct? After a full year of fighting and living together, you ought to have a clear sense of who your partner truly is. One day you'll march onto real battlefields, facing feral monster beasts, not the low-tier captive beasts within training zones. If you and your contracted partner clash, filled with suspicion, exploitation, and hidden schemes, it will spell disaster for both of you, and may even endanger your entire squad. Don't overthink this for now, just keep this knowledge in mind. When you reach that crossroads in the future, you'll have one more option to weigh. Next, I will walk you through the steps of synchronized dual cultivation between partners. This is the foundational practice for paired tier breaking, a skill every one of you must master whether you choose to attempt tier breaking later or not. Shortly after, all the beast tamer pairs found open spaces nearby and sat cross-legged on the ground. A faint ripple of spirit force quickly permeated the air. Wang Tianfeng and each class's counselor wove through the crowd, checking every student's cultivation state. They paused repeatedly to correct stances and adjust the rhythm of spirit force circulation. Good. Excellent spirit force control. Hold this steady rhythm. Don't let it waver. Your spirit force flow is chaotic. Calm your mind and stop letting stray thoughts distract you. There's a flaw in your posture. Shift the angle where your palms press together. Yes, that's better. Li Lei was also overseeing the first-year students. Though he patrolled a different route than Wang Tianfeng, both men reached Su Yang and Mu Chenxi's side at nearly the same moment. They both froze mid-step, stunned. Su Yang, what's going on here? Did you complete tier breaking? Su Yang himself was utterly confused. He hadn't attempted tier breaking at all. He'd advanced naturally through normal cultivation. Could the hidden talents granted by his system be mistaken for talents unlocked via tier breaking? To test this theory, Su Yang feigned ignorance and asked, "What makes you say that?" Wang Tianfang explained. You're still low tier, so you can't see it. But to our eyes, your spirit force meridians are far thicker than an ordinary cultivator's. The thickness of your meridians governs how efficiently you absorb spirit force, and it also corresponds to how many talents you possess. Suyang, tell us the truth. Did you truly complete tier breaking and awaken another hidden talent? Suyang's mouth twitched at this. So the system gifted talents were being misread as rewards from tier breaking. This misunderstanding was massive. Yet admitting the truth would only bring endless trouble. Suyang quickly weighed his options internally, then let out a long sigh. Fine. I did successfully complete tier breaking. But the power of my new talent is quite unique, so I asked that both instructors allow me to keep its details confidential. Shock washed over everyone present. Mu Qinxi was stunned. Wang Tianfang was stunned. Li Lei was stunned. Every sophomore student around them sat frozen in shock. 3 full seconds of absolute silence dragged by. Pardon. Wang Tianfang raised his voice dramatically. You completed tier breaking? Suyang nodded. I got lucky. It worked out just fine. Li Lei ripped off his glasses, wiped them furiously with his sleeve, and slipped them back on. He stared intently at Su Yang's spirit force meridians for several more seconds. The more he looked, the more certain he grew. This width was impossible for standard single-talent meridians. But how could this be? First years who even broke into Tier 2 were vanishingly rare. Suyang had not only reached Tier 2, but he'd pulled off tier breaking during his Tier 1 to Tier 2 advancement. Tier breaking between Tier 1 and Tier 2 required at least 5 times more spirit force than a standard Tier 1 Stage 10 to Tier 2 breakthrough. Where would a first-year student possibly source such an astronomical amount of spirit force? Very quickly, their shock melted into wild elation. Linhai University had produced such a prodigy. This year's inter-university tournament rankings might actually improve drastically. Wang Tianfang clapped Li Lei on the shoulder and grinned. Our schools always rank dead last. We might crack triple digits this time. Li Lei rolled his eyes. Have some ambition. We could even break into double digits. Ha ha, you're absolutely right. Wang Tianfang laughed loudly. Li, you absolutely have to nurture this prodigy well. Li Lei pushed his glasses up the bridge of his nose. Naturally, even if he's only temporarily under my guidance, I won't slack off for a second. This reflects directly on Linhai University's reputation. The cultivation instruction session wrapped up soon after. Word of Su Yang's tier breaking spread like wildfire across the entire training camp. Su Yang pulled off tier breaking as a first year? Did I hear that correctly? Instructor Wang just spent ages lecturing us about how risky and difficult tier breaking is. One failed attempt sets you back years. Then he turns around and tells us some first year already pulled it off? What kind of monster is this guy? This is absurd, utterly absurd. It feels like I've wasted 2 years of my life for nothing. Speaking of absurd, doesn't anyone find Lin Rushua hilarious? She was contracted to Su Yang for 6 whole months. How could she not know he'd done tier breaking, or what his hidden talent even does? She dumped him without a single clue about how powerful he really was. I was just thinking the same thing. She thought she was the strong one, then tossed her golden ticket aside like dead weight. I'll be laughing about that blunder for a full year. For real, though, Su Yang's ability to turn a grade F black-scaled serpent into a massive black python must be his new tier-breaking talent. It's ridiculously overpowered. If it can buff a grade F bloodline that drastically, imagine what it could do for a grade A bloodline. Now that you mention it, something just crossed my mind. My contracted partner was asking her best friend for Su Yang's WeChat over lunch. I swear I didn't mishear her. Holy hell. Mine straight up asked me point blank. No attempt to hide it at all. Mine too. We were never romantic, just temporary contract partners. But she had the gall to ask for another man's contact right in front of me. Unbelievable. Similar conversations unfolded in every corner of the camp. The female 10 area was even livelier. Multiple women with grade B and higher bloodlines huddled together, trading the latest gossip about Su Yang with the intensity of cramming for final exams. Meanwhile, Su Yang sat alone in his spacious corner tent, a strange look on his face. Mu Qinxi lay curled beside him, her chin resting on one of his thighs, eyes glued to the flood of friend requests popping up on his phone screen. 30-something requests just in this short time, right? Mu Qinxi poked the screen with her finger and scrolled down the friend list. All upper-class women with grade B or better bloodlines, every single one gorgeous. Look at this one who sent a photo. She looks just like a celebrity. What did she say to you? Su Yang held the phone out toward her. Read it yourself. Mu Qinxi took the phone and read aloud. Hello, student Su Yang. I'm Su Qing, a sophomore with a grade A blazing flame bird bloodline, currently tier 2 stage 9. I'll cut straight to the point. If you plan to contract a second spirit beast in the future, I hope you'll consider me first. My family owns 2 properties in Linhai City and can supply unlimited cultivation resources for you. If you're willing, I'd even sign a life bond contract. Name any terms you want. Of course, if you feel your current contracted partner isn't a good fit for you, I could also. Ugh, this senior has no shame at all. Su-Yang chuckled at her pouting, indignant expression. He couldn't tell if she was jealous or merely amused. Her reaction was oddly contradictory. Mu Chenxi closed Su Qing's chat window and kept scrolling through other messages. When she pulled up a selfie sent by another woman, she nearly choked in shock. The photo was unmistakably Fang Xian. The words that followed were even more shameless than Su Qing's. Mu Chenxi couldn't bring herself to read them aloud. Wait, doesn't she already have a contracted partner? She fought alongside him this morning and immediately came poaching this afternoon? That's outrageous. Lu Lin will be furious if he finds out. The rest of the upper-classwomen's messages were equally dramatic. Some took an intellectual approach, sending long paragraphs analyzing how their bloodline perfectly synergized with Su Yang's talents. Others leaned into sincerity, openly admitting their current partner was weak and begging for a powerful beast tamer like him. A few went all-out extravagant, promising unlimited cultivation resources if he signed with them, plus core military positions arranged by their families after graduation. These grade B and a bloodline women normally carried themselves with icy aloofness around campus, acting as if anyone who stared too long owed them a fine. Now they threw away all pride for a chance to contract with Su Yang. Truly, goddesses don't take the initiative unless you're worth their effort. Mu Chenxi scrolled through every last message, then handed the phone back to Su Yang. Her faint twinges of jealousy had melted into unmissable smug satisfaction, the corners of her mouth tugging nearly up to her ears. What are you grinning about? Su Yang took the phone, eyeing her honey-sweet grin and feigning ignorance. Nothing. Mu Chenxi rolled onto her back atop the sleeping bag and said no more. Those upper-class women never spared me a glance in the cafeteria before, yet now they grovel to curry favor with my man. The feeling was simply incredible. After a moment, she rolled onto her side, propped her head up with one hand, and smiled brightly. Brother Su Yang, honestly, if you ever do decide to contract a second spirit beast later on, I fully support you. As long as you never abandon me, I won't object in the slightest. Su Yang's talents clearly stretched far beyond what they'd seen so far. It was all but guaranteed he would form contracts with multiple spirit beasts down the line. If she acted possessive and demanded exclusive partnership, she would only look unreasonable and greedy. Su Yang pinched the tip of her nose and smiled. We can talk about that later. Besides, even if I do contract a second spirit beast someday, I'll pick extremely carefully. I'd never just bind myself to some random one. Mu Chenxi huddled closer to him again, leaning her body against Su Yang's. Hee. Later all those girls with the grade bloodlines will have to call me senior. Hee. For the next stretch of time, Su Yang spent ages gently turning down requests from all the upper-class women. It felt just like working customer service, even more draining than building affinity points. Su Yang stretched lazily. I'm worn out. You've worked hard. Mu Chenxi handed him a freshly brewed cup of hot tea, then reached up to knead his shoulders. Turning down so many beautiful senior girls' eager invitations really must take it out of you. Tell me about it. Su Yang took the cup and sipped some tea, especially Fang Xian. I rejected her 3 times before she finally backed off. I half expected her to storm straight into our tent next. If she dares show up, I'll glare her down again. Ha ha. Then we'd have to ask Lu Lin to come drag her away once more. They chatted casually for a while before Su Yang sat up, pulled the flannel pouch Li Lei had given him at noon out of his pocket, and emptied all the beast cores onto the sleeping bag. Take the rank 1 cores to cultivate with. Okay. Su Yang pushed 10 rank 1 cores over to Mu Chenxi, then picked up the rank 2 cores for his own cultivation. 10 minutes later, boom. Breakthrough successful, rank 2 stage 2. Su Yang opened his eyes, glanced at the powdered core residue in his palm, then at the faint golden spiritual energy veins winding across his arm, a small smile tugging at his lips. Not bad, faster than he'd predicted. Wang Tianfang was right. The thicker your spiritual energy meridians, the higher your refining efficiency. With 3 talent meridians stacked together now, his refining speed was more than triple that of an ordinary beastmaster. Back when he'd contracted Lin Ruxue, refining a plain rank 2 magical beast core took nearly half an hour. Now he could fully absorb a rank 2 core in under 10 minutes. The efficiency was night and day. Off to his side, Mu Chenxi had also finished refining her beast cores and successfully broken through to rank 1 stage 10. She left the remaining 3 rank 1 cores untouched. It wasn't that she didn't want to, she couldn't absorb anymore. The demonic aura she'd absorbed yesterday had completely burned away. Now holding the beast cores felt no different from gripping ordinary stone. There was no resonant pull whatsoever. Looks like you've hit your limit for now. Suyang glanced at her status and nodded. Store those 3 away for now. We can refine them after we hunt some magical beasts later. Got it. Mu Qinxi put the leftover cores back into the flannel pouch and nodded. Suyang pulled out his phone to check the time, 4:10 in the afternoon. His system mission required slaying 20 magical beasts of rank 2 or higher, and his completion count still sat at 0. This was free activity hours, and the mountains and forests surrounding the camp teemed with monsters. If they headed out to grind some kills before dinner, he ought to finish the mission before midnight. Still, Suyang didn't stand up right away. He'd been run-ragged all day, starting with his fight against Lu Lin and Fang Xian that morning, then fielding non-stop questions from Wang Tianfang and Li Lei about his breakthrough, followed by dozens of upper-class women blowing up his chat with messages. His nerves had been stretched taut this whole time. He really needed to unwind a little before heading out. No need to rush everything at a frantic pace. He reached out, caught Mu Qinxi's wrist, and gently pulled her into his embrace. Mu Qinxi froze for a second, then her face flushed bright red. Brother Suyang, I thought we were going hunting? No rush. We'll head out after dinner. Let's relax for a bit first. The light inside the tent dimmed. Half an hour later. Ding. Detected host skill has met evolution requirements. Host's high-grade hand-to-hand combat arts has successfully evolved, advancing to top-tier hand-to-hand combat arts initial stage. Effect. Possesses masterful close-quarters combat techniques for melee fighting. Additionally provides a minor boost to Beastmaster power output. Suyang stared in shock. What the heck? Building affinity could actually evolve system skills? And what even was this initial stage? He couldn't feel any obvious change at all. System notification. When cultivating affinity with your contracted partner, there is a small chance your own system skills will evolve. Evolution is split into 5 stages: initial, minor completion, major completion, peak, perfection. Each evolution grants a 20 boost to the original skill's effects. Upon reaching perfection stage, you will master the skill flawlessly. Special note: only skills directly awarded by the system can evolve via this method. Beastmaster talents and self-enlightened skills are excluded. Suyang twitched the corner of his mouth as he read the system explanation floating in his mind. That actually works? But affinity cultivation was something he had to do every single day anyway. Now he could level up his skills on the side. 2 rewards for 1 task, double the satisfaction. Brother Suyang, I'm going to take a shower first. Mu Qinxi dug clean clothes and a towel out of her backpack and trotted toward the bathhouse. Suyang watched her retreating figure, then lay back down on the sleeping bag with his hands propped behind his head. Truth be told, he'd wanted to keep going to see if he could push the skill to minor completion, but it looked like that would have to wait until night. After dinner, Suyang went to report to Li Lei. During training camp, any student leaving the camp zone to train in the wild had to notify the supervising instructor. When Li Lei heard Suyang planned to go monster hunting, he didn't even lift his head before signing off on it. Judging by the combat strength Suyang had displayed that day, the rank 2 beasts outside camp were little more than free loot for him. There was no reason to worry. Still, as Suyang turned to leave, Li Lei added a warning. Don't go past the 15-kilometer safety perimeter around camp. Suyang nodded in acknowledgement and walked out the camp gate with Mu Qinxi. They trekked along the mountain path for over 10 minutes, yet not a single magical beast showed itself, not even a footprint. Looks like we're not the only ones who thought to go out training. Suyang scanned their surroundings. The ground was covered in beast paw prints left by transformed spirit beasts and human footprints alike. The 500-plus second years must have combed this whole area during afternoon free time. They'd wiped the place clean without leaving a trace of any monsters. They'd have to venture deeper into the woods. The pair walked roughly another 20 minutes deeper into the forest. All traces of recent fighting vanished entirely. Clearly the second years hadn't traveled this far out. Brother Suyang, there are magical beasts ahead. The shadow python possessed night vision, and the ability shone brilliantly in this dim environment. What kind? 5-horn magic deer, all around rank 2 stage 5, minion tier, scattered widely apart. Rank 2 stage 5 minion tier beasts posed practically no threat to Mu Qinxi in her current state. Still, this was her first group fight, perfect target practice. Alright, let's engage. Suyang lifted his right palm, golden light blooming in his hand, and pressed it firmly against Mu Qinxi's back. A luminous cocoon burst open, revealing the 5-meter-long shadow python within the glow. Su Yang swung a leg over and climbed onto the serpent's back. Ah! Mu Qinzi let out a soft gasp, caught off guard that Su Yang would mount her directly. Come to think of it, though, hadn't he always ridden her anyway? This time she just shifted into her beast form instead of human. The herd of horned magic deer stood drinking by the stream, completely oblivious to the incoming danger. The shadow python moved with uncanny stealth. Shadows coiled around her scales swallowed her massive body whole into the night, masking every trace of her aura entirely. Only when she materialized from the bushes beside the stream did the closest deer jerk its head up. Before it could react, a powerful tail sweep slammed straight into its body. Rank 2 Stage 5 beasts crumpled like paper against Mu Qinzi's strength. One hit, one kill. The remaining 4 deer panicked and scattered in all directions. Against the shadow python's blistering speed, running was futile. In less than 30 seconds, all 4 remaining deer lay dead on the ground. Clatter. As the last horned magic deer's corpse hit the dirt, a rank 2 beast core dropped out. The drop rate was admittedly low, but it beat getting nothing at all. A flash of golden light wrapped the giant serpent, shifting Mu Qinzi back into human form. She brushed dead leaf fragments off her clothes and skipped over to Su Yang's side. I took down all 5, finished in under 30 seconds total. Brother Su Yang, don't you think I've gotten even stronger? Su Yang pocketed the beast core and smiled at her little proud, credit-seeking expression. You've improved tremendously. I only activated my talent 3 times the whole fight. The rest was all your own power. Once you break through to rank 2, you'll probably be able to defeat rank 3 beasts above your tier. Really? Then once I hit rank 2 tomorrow, let's go fight that Lin Nai who's rank 3. I've never fought a rank 3 opponent before. Hold your horses. The biggest issue you need to fix right now is your stamina. You can't pass out after just an hour or 2 of fighting every time. They chatted and laughed for a minute longer, then followed the stream deeper into the forest. Before they knew it, the clock hit 9 p.m. Rank 2 monsters simply couldn't challenge Mu Qinzi anymore. When the last black wind leopard rank 2 stage 7 choked to death wrapped in her coils, the system alert finally chimed. Ding! Congratulations, host, for completing your daily mission. You have earned 1 sign-in chance. Would you like to sign in now? Sign in. Ding! 3 consecutive sign-ins completed. Critical hit reward unlocked. Congratulations, host, for obtaining a special item. Rank 5 temporary experience card. Effect. Upon use, you and 1 contracted partner temporarily gain the power of rank 5 stage 10 for 10 minutes. All combat instincts match true rank 5 stage 10 proficiency during the duration. Your original ranks are restored once the experience ends. Su Yang froze. A rank 5 stage 10 experience card? 10 minutes only? Rank 5 stage 10 was far from weak in this world. Linhai University's instructors barely scraped rank 6, while rank 7 practitioners held positions as department heads or head training instructors at the school. With that level of power, you could wander any wild zone within Long Kingdom without fear. The only catch was the measly 10-minute time limit. 10 minutes of invincibility, powerful, but far too fleeting. Stow this away for now. This'll be our ace in the hole if we ever run into an enemy we can't beat. Su Yang quietly stored the rank 5 experience card in his inventory. He brushed dust off his palms and was about to tell Mu Qinzi it was time to head back to camp when her body stiffened slightly. She spun sharply around, her amber vertical pupils constricting into thin slits amid the darkness. Brother Su Yang, a magical beast is rushing straight toward us at top speed. That aura, it's not minion tier, it's elite tier. An iron spine bear, rank 2 stage 10. Su Yang narrowed his eyes. A rank 2 stage 10 elite tier iron spine bear was basically the strongest wild monster you could find anywhere near the training camp. Li Lei had mentioned all rank 3 and above beasts in the surrounding area had been cleared out in advance, meaning this bear represented the maximum combat power available in this zone. He glanced at Mu Qinzi. Not a trace of fear showed on her face, only blazing battle fervor. She wasn't scared. She was thrilled, like a hunter finally spotting prey worthy of her skill. Su Yang gently patted the top of her head. Go on then, I'll back you up. Fight all out. Don't worry about anything else. Mu Qinzi nodded firmly. Leave it to me. She gritted her teeth silently to herself. Last month, Su Yang and Lin Rushue had teamed up to slay a rank 2 stage 5 iron spine bear, and everyone had talked about it endlessly. Back then, she'd been nothing more than a useless F-grade bloodline beast who wasn't even allowed in the trial zones. She'd hidden in her dorm scrolling campus group chats, watching everyone worship Lin Rushue, filled with a mix of envy and bitter longing. Now she was contracted to Su Yang. Su Yang was her beastmaster, bound to her with a lifeblood contract. If Lin Rushue could kill an iron spine bear, so could she. If Lin Rushue could achieve something, she would do it even better. Mu Qinxi would never be inferior to Lin Rushue in any way. Her figure flickered, vanishing instantly into the shadows. The next second, several large trees were sent flying sideways. A colossal beast charged out into view. It was a giant bear the size of a small truck, standing over 2.5 meters tall at the shoulder, and easily reaching 4 meters when rearing up on its hind legs. Thick iron-gray hide covered its entire frame, with jagged bony plates running from its neck all the way down to its tailbone, each plate as thick as a human palm. The feature that gave the iron spine bear its name. Su Yang stood motionless by the stream, hands tucked into his pockets. Man and bear locked eyes from less than 30 meters apart. Roar! The iron spine bear let out a deafening bellow and charged straight for Su Yang like an oncoming tank. Su Yang remained completely calm. When the bear closed to within 10 meters, shadows suddenly stirred behind it, and Mu Qinxi and Shadow Python form burst forth. Tail sweep. But a split second before the tail's wind could strike its hind legs, the iron spine bear sensed the incoming ambush and tensed to leap sideways out of range on instinct. Yet Su Yang's perfect coordination skill activated. This attack would land without fail. Boom. The bear's massive body was sent flying sideways by the blow, smashing clean through a giant tree over 2 meters thick. It shook its head dazedly, blood-red eyes locking onto the black, giant serpent coiled on the rocky stream bank. Roar! Enraged, the iron spine bear unleashed another earth-shaking roar, scraped its claws against the ground, and charged the shadow python a second time. Mu Qinxi did not dodge. She tilted her serpentine head upward slightly. Shadow pupil activate. The bear's sprinting frame froze mid-charge, overwhelming dizziness flooding its brain instantly. It recovered its senses after only 2 seconds, though. Iron spine bears boasted famously high resistance to all abnormal status effects among elite-tier monsters. Not to mention Mu Qinxi was a full 10 stages below its rank. 2 seconds was more than enough time for her, however. The moment Shadow Pupil activated, she'd already slipped back into the shadows. When the bear's vertigo faded, all it saw was an empty rocky bank. It sensed danger instinctively and tried to turn, but it was too late. Mu Qinxi surged out of the shadows behind it, landing a direct tail strike square into its midsection. The bear's spine was shielded by impenetrable bone plating. The only vulnerable soft tissue sat at the joint between its back and belly. Her blow hit that weak spot dead on without a millimeter of deviation. Crash! It was like a high-speed bullet train slamming into a hair. Blood splattered everywhere, splinters of bone flying through the air. A fist-sized magical beast core went flying out of the mangled flesh, arcing high through the air before vanishing into the distance. Su Yang stared at the direction the core had flown, then glanced down at the unrecognizable, shattered remains of the iron spine bear on the ground. Silent for 2 full seconds. Qinxi, you really didn't hold back your strength at all. That core, judging by its trajectory, it probably flew straight past the protected zone's safety perimeter.